Hi, it's me, Wyatt, the boy,
And me, Clem, the lobster.
and you're listening to The Lobster and His Boy, in which we're rereading the Chronicles of Narnia in publication order. In this episode, we return to Narnia, accompanied by some new friends and one old. So join us as we discuss The Silver Chair. And if you like this podcast, please leave us a review and or download an episode. It really helps with the algorithm. Thank you. Speaking of the silver chair, speaking of the algorithm, it was published in 1953, but it was actually completed in March of 1951, which is the same year that Prince Caspian came out. So, book's coming out. He's finishing other ones. It was 2 years after the first one. He's completed the fourth one 2 years later.
It almost seems like he kind of had a plan about the fluidity, but the books are so short that it seems like after he would finish one, it's like, oh, I've got this idea for another. And especially how he includes dumb little things, I'm gonna mention that in another book. It's like when you're writing on another parchment of paper,
right, simultaneously. He's like, "Ooh, that's a good idea. That could be an hour-long book, 100 pages."
He's just Fiona Apple writing two stories at the same time.
I could write 100 pages about that.
Sure, why not? I'm really excited about this one for no reason other than I think I remember really liking the story the first time I read it, and also brought this up to a close friend of both of ours about how that was one of my favorites, and she laughed at me because apparently this is the one that everybody hates.
I definitely feel like I have skipped this one as a kid. Like, I skipped this one. But reading it this time, it's so fun. And I think that it's so fun because it's fresh for me and not fresh. Like, I remembered some things and I don't know how it ends, but, I know how it ends. It's a Narnia book.
It's not a very enticing title. Okay, a silver chair. Sure, great. Could be made of, silver. It could be like a big fancy regal thing. Mostly what I'm trying to say is that it kind of pales in comparison to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, A Prince, A Horse and His Boy. Wait, that sounds like the title of our podcast.
Oh, doesn't it now? Even if it was the Silver Throne, I think it would be more enticing. It's because it's a chair. Everybody's got a chair. Yeah. Even we made a joke about finding a chair on the street and painting it silver because it's just a chair. It's just a silver
I've got a chair.
Yeah, I could have a silver chair. Oh, I did want to talk about my cover real quick because I swore Eustace was blonde on my Dawn Treader cover. And I guess I don't know who the young boy in the cave on the cover is. It could not be Eustace. Because I have a young boy with dark hair, looking like Edmund, in a cave surrounded by these kind of goblin creatures or something with like long noses and they've got pitchforks. It's just like really weird book cover.
Sounds spooky.
Yeah. But it threw me off because I was like, who is this boy? But we haven't seen that scene yet.
We're not going to see any scenes except in our imagination.
There's no movie to this one because Fox tried and failed. All right. Chapter 1. Behind the gym.
So I very distinctly remember my 9th grade English teacher telling us how important it was that the first sentence of a book pulled the reader in, and you really gotta give it to C.S. Lewis for this whomper. It was a dull autumn day, and Jill Pole was crying behind the gym.
Who's this girl? She's crying. It's a shit day. The tone is somber.
It just starts off with a very
Yeah, it starts off with a sigh.
And considering, we're coming from Dawn Treader, everything, all these beloved characters that we really just grew with, learned with, had a wonderful time reading alongside, it doesn't really set you up for a lot of tremendous faith in this one Jill Pole, who henceforth I will be referring to occasionally as JP.
And since we have a new character, I figured I'd do some name origins. So Jill comes from Latin. It means sweetheart or youthful. The name is short form of Jillian, but it is now an independent name within its own right, according to Wikipedia.
Good for her.
Yes, there's also a Bible-specific meaning, and Jill is a girl's name of English origin, meaning child of the gods. It is short form as Jillian with a G, not a J, from the Latin name Juliana, meaning youthful. So, the same, but the short form Jill has its own specific biblical meaning of child of the gods. And the surname Pole usually derives from pool, a person associated with a body of water. And they gave a Welsh, the Welsh de la Poles are descended from Gruffydd ap Gwenwyn.
Wait, which season of Drag Race was De La Pole on? So we know that Jill is crying. We are told straight up front that she's not crying because she's currently being bullied at school, she is being bullied, but really it's mostly just because there's nothing she can do about it, and the kids are just kind of allowed to run rompant at this school, which is, it sounds like a really creepy, fucked up Montessori school, but they call it the Experiment House.
Hate that. What are they experimenting with? Not teaching children?
Credit to him for making it sound like a terrible place to be, but yeah, the kids aren't punished for bullying. They're like just psychologically analyzed. And
they just want to talk about it, about why they chose to beat somebody else, and the kids just manipulate them, and all the teachers are pushovers, and it's giving American school system.
Oh.
But she's crying, and it says that she hadn't quite finished her cry when somebody walked around the corner, whistling, having like a fucking grand old day, and she's mad immediately, which I understand. I'm like, I'm fucking having a shit time. I'm in the middle of my shit time, and someone's ruining my silent crying alone time, having a good time.
Like a cathartic release. Also, it should be noted that she is behind a shrubbery. One shrubbery. But the nice thing is this boy realizes that she's upset, and he actually asks why she's upset in a kind of nice way, which everybody knows that when you're upset and you're trying to get your bearings back together, and someone asks you if you're upset, you're definitely going to fall apart. So,
Yeah.
Blubbery continues, and
Yeah, she can't really speak, or she'll cry. And he understands that it was, quote, them. They keep talking about this them with a capital T. Like, the bullies are just, it doesn't really matter who they are, and the author isn't. I think that they give some names earlier on, but then they just refer to them as them. So it doesn't matter. Bullies are bullies. They're all the same. That's what he's telling us.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, she's not into it, but it's just essentially her whole attitude is like, just leave me alone. I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
I'm fucking distraught.
I'm distraught. But he gives her a peppermint, and she's like, fine, I'll take it. He says, fuck you, but I'll take the peppermint.
I think he says, do you want a peppermint?
Yeah, have the peppermint.
It's too hot for me.
We find out that the boy is Eustace when he offers the peppermint.
Our sweet dragon lad.
Yeah, I think it does a little throwback where it says he was unfortunately Eustace Scrub.
It does.
Mm-hmm. And she eats the peppermint, calms down a little bit, and she apologizes. And I was like, this is probably like an old school peppermint, so it's probably got real shit in it. It was probably hit hard. And so I looked it up. I was like, this peppermint calms you down, right? And yeah, it says the menthol and peppermint is a natural muscle relaxant. If you drink it in tea, helps you from being stressed out or anxious. Doesn't contain caffeine. And so this is old school peppermints. It's got real pepper, real mints. It's strong.
Oh, yeah. The peppermint causes her to see things in a clearer light.
Yeah, she literally calms down from a peppermint. I was like, is she that hungry that the peppermint is calling? But I think it's more likely that it's
low blood sugar.
Yeah, either low blood sugar or old school ingredients, so it was like you're getting real peppermint, not a whole bunch of sugar and
Yeah.
corn syrup. So it actually does give you the benefit of the peppermint.
Yeah, I think peppermint plus a little sugar boost, plus they're like a child living in England and it's rainy autumn times.
Yeah,
The
and then
only
here,
food
have
they
a
have,
sweet.
there's bread, soup, and there's potato, and that's it.
And she calls him Scrub, and he calls her Pole. It's like regular old boarding school British shit.
Scrub and Pole, like the offices of Scrub and Pole. This episode is sponsored by Scrub and Pole.
Scrub and Pole, Scrub and Pole.
This is a nice bit where, it's like a reflection on how Eustace used to be, and Jill is also agreeing with him. It's like, he's like, I'm not the same guy I used to be. She's like, you're really not. You've really turned it around. Even the girlies, Eleanor Blaston and Adela Pennyfeather. Pennyfather?
Pennyfather.
It says Pennyfather. Whatever. The point is, the girls at the school said that someone's got a hold of that Scrub kid. He's quite unmanageable this term. We shall have to attend to him next.
Yes, these are two of the bullies. So they're gonna teach him to step in line.
Actually, now that we're discussing this, it really makes me think that Eustace probably went to this school before.
Yeah.
And that's why he was the person he was in the last book. And
right. Snobby, defensive. Stand alone. He's going to read the books that nobody else reads because they're probably the only books that are left in that library. Because the other books are being taken by the people, not because they want to read them, but because other people would want to read them.
Yeah, there's like water dripping off the leaves.
The laurel leaves. And laurel is synonymous with achievement. So there could be some, like the achievement is above them.
Personal growth.
It's taking that success from the laurels and it's dripping onto them.
Yeah.
Prepping them for their inevitable journey. You get a queer mention?
Oh, yeah. One.
Because she asks him why he changed, and he's like, a bunch of queer stuff happened to me.
Yeah. What sort of things? Please elaborate, Eustace. Like, how much time do we have? And Eustace finally says, look here, Paul. You and I hate this place about as much as anybody can hate anything, don't we? I regret that accent immediately.
It's kind of what he sounded like in the movie.
You know what? Thank you. But also Eustace is just like, I've got a really terrific secret, and it is so good to hear it.
It's so good. He starts whispering. And then it's said that because he's whispering, it makes it a little bit easier to believe.
Well, also he doesn't want anyone to hear. Because,
because he's talking about being whisked away to other worlds. And she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, okay, well, never mind about that. But like, mystical, magical, fantastical. And he was making fun of his cousins for talking about this shit like 6 months ago, maybe 4 months ago.
I mean,
I think that it was
the ocean will change you.
Exactly.
But, his demeanor, like, I just imagine him, like, all, like, hunkered down, like, his eyes, like, bulgy and, like, looking around wildly and just being like, look, I don't, like, do you believe in enchantments?
Maybe he, like, tucks them back behind the shrub.
Dragons. Fairy tales. And then, she's just like, okay, sure, but how do you get there? And Eustace says, the only way you can get there. Magic.
And he guesses that there is a chance he could go back because Aslan told the Pevensies they were not coming back, and he didn't tell Eustace that. He's like, he's the kind, he would tell me if I couldn't come back, so I might be able to get back. And there's another queer mention because Jill's like, oh, you're gonna draw some circle with queer letters and start chanting something. And he's like,
what are queer letters?
Yeah. F-A.
Well, definitely Q.
Yeah.
In arguably Q. And U, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, U is definitely pansexual.
I feel like Z's kind of...
Oh,
especially when it's Z.
I feel like, J, of course.
J and G.
Oh, yeah.
Did we already say G?
No, but they are lovers.
What about Y?
Sometimes Y.
And sometimes Y.
So... So, yeah, Jill's like, are you fucking with me? And he's like, I assure you that I am not fucking with you. And Jill's like, if you are lying to me, I will never, ever speak to you again. And Eustace is like, dude, no, I'm not. And we get another fourth wall, almost kind of like ass covering break from Sluis at this point, where he says that when he was in school, they would have sworn by the Bible, like in these sort of circumstances where they're talking about like whether or not like, you know, they're super serious, but in like in this type of school, they don't swear on like that sort of thing.
Right.
And I'm like, what?
Maybe also like I swear to God, kind of that energy. But maybe they used to say like I swear on the Bible.
Yeah, but he just no, I swear
The
that I'm not.
Kardashians,
Yeah,
Bible.
Bible.
Back when I was in school, we would say Bible,
Amen.
but now the kids nowadays don't do that. And yeah, Eustace doesn't think that Aslan would like this queer letter circle, because that would be like telling him what to do. And he's like, all we can do is ask to go.
I was like, we just came back from Narnia. Like, why did he, like, you know, and then I was like, oh, of course, because you don't really remember all the things that you did in Narnia. But, like, I don't know. It just seemed like Eustace could have, like, thought of some more specific stuff to help her so she didn't struggle the way that he did when, like, he, like, first got there. But I guess, you know, he probably can't really remember it. So Eustace says that he's called Aslan, and that place, he's got a curious name that's not half so curious as himself.
Right, he kind of is like, whoa, he's really mysterious with the descriptions.
I like how Eustace decides how they have to do this. Like, this is
It's a really good idea, though.
It's also very cute and kid-like how it's like, okay, this is how we have to do the magic. Like, when you don't know what you're talking about, and like, yeah, we got to stand side by side, and they got to hold their arms out in front of them, palms down, just like they did on Ramadou's Island. And then JP says, whose island? Ramadou. Ramadou.
He goes, we should probably face east as well, which is a wonderful idea because, like, that's what they were doing on Ramadou's. They were praying to Aslan. Yeah. They were singing in honor of Aslan. And so, of course, east is toward the laurels. They face toward the victory. And Eustace makes some fucking misogyny about girls and directions. He's like, of course you don't know which way's east. She's like, sorry?
Yeah, neither of them know which direction is.
Yeah, and he's like, I do. It's this way toward the laurels, which
sure it is.
It is.
Also, like, I mean, again, he doesn't know, but it doesn't really matter which direction you face because you're in a different world, my guy.
And they start to chant, Aslan, 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 Aslan. And the bullies. It's like a never-ending story. The bullies start coming, and they're like, we hear you, like, we know you're there, Pole. And they're scrambling, and, like, the kids are like, fuck.
They scrambled up the slope of the shrubbery at a sprightly speed.
Wow,
Shakira scrambled up the slope of the shrubbery at a sprightly speed.
Only to sell seashells at the seashore, Shakira. That's a good enunciation practice.
That's an enunciation practice.
The bullies are scrambling around after them. Like, they know that they're there. They know that they're hiding. And they're chasing them. It's giving hiding in the wardrobe, like running from Mrs. Oh no, I forgot her name. McCready. Mrs. McCready. And they're scrambling, and they get to the top. And there's a service door that's like I don't know. It's very loosely described. I'm not sure if it's a building or if it's like a wall or I don't really remember.
It's at the top of the shrubbery. So
yeah, there's like that's why I'm like maybe it's like a service door in the fence or something.
Yeah, and it's like it's apparently always locked, but for some reason it's not locked.
Yeah, surprise, it's unlocked now. And they swing open the door because they can hear the people coming up the shrubberies, and like basically Ramadou's Island. They open the door and bright sunlight and probably like warm, fresh Narnian air. Like,
yeah, maybe it was like I don't know. It says like they were expecting to see like a gray, heathery slope. So I wonder if it was.
It's probably like a brick
door.
wall or like it's solid. Like it's not chain link.
Yeah. So instead of just like muck and mire, it's just sunshine. Like it says pouring through the doorway as the light of June pours into a garage when you open the door.
Oh, yeah, that's giving warm, fresh, like you can feel it. And the bullies are on their tail.
He describes this sunlight a lot, like literally blue sky, like jewels and huge butterflies.
Yeah, I mean, my neighbor Susanna.
Dude for Susanna. I mean, yeah, and like Eustace is, I mean, yeah, Jill's goofed, Eustace goofed, yeah, just a little, come on, Pole.
Come on, Paul.
Come on, Pole.
Let's jump through. And they do.
Yeah, you can hear the voices like, yeah.
It's
Now, Paul, we know you're down there. Can we get over here?
Yeah, it's like you can, in an 80s movie, you would see them and it would be like, why can't they see our main characters? Like, they're 5 feet away, and they're like, we're gonna get you! And they don't see the light, and they don't see the Narnia, and then they jump through,
And bing, bang, bong, diddly, ding, ding, dong.
There's a beautiful bird song. More beautiful and complex than anything on Earth. And they keep walking, and they're in, like, this beautiful, tall forest, like, huge trees, and none of the trees are too close. It's not like a packed, dense, old, spooky forest. There's air, there's birds flying around, yellow, and dragonfly blue. So these are like bright birds, rainbow plumage.
Like, at one point, I thought this was all encompassing on one bird, and I'm like, that's
it. No, damn, Jacob.
Yeah, that. I think that this is like probably. Yeah, like this is like the closest to Ramadu's Island that we've.
Jacob.
Go, 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 Joe.
Go, 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 Joe. Go,
The whole thing.
Like, this is a beautiful place.
Yeah, unlike anything that we've seen, and I also realized at this point that although Eustace did a lot of traveling in the magical realm of Narnia, he never actually went to the land of Narnia.
Right, the country of Narnia.
So he doesn't actually have any idea what it looks like. So, you know, that's basically like saying someone's been to England when they've been to Canada.
Yeah.
I think the way they describe the sound of like the bullies' voices is just like the sound of like a radio snapping off.
Right, they walk through the door and it's like you change the channel
to
bird song.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, in my head I pictured it. It's just like, you know, literally just like bird jazz. Just chickens playing jazz. But yeah, like I think the cool thing about this is that, especially because for those of us who are just like, okay, here we go, we're getting on back to Narnia, it's nice to show up somewhere that isn't readily familiar. Like this isn't just getting plopped off, you know.
At Carparval.
Yeah, or like
they always did.
Yeah, or just, I mean, even like just getting scooped up by Prince Caspian within 2 seconds. Like this is a little bit more. This has more Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe energy, kind of like you said.
Where are we?
They're in a big ass forest, and then like, you know, eventually there's a spot where the trees end, and then there's sky, and then there's a huge cliff.
Huge.
Big old cliff, and JP does that thing that. Well, I mean, I'm not afraid of heights, and I do it unintentionally, but where you just kind of get, like, a little bit too close.
It says that she does it to prove, like, how cool she is. Like, she's like... Because Eustace goes, whoa, that's really high. She's like, I'm not scared.
Don't tell me what to do.
And she gets up to the edge.
Yeah, also, this is where I noticed that, like, Sluis keeps calling Eustace Scrub. And, like, we spent the whole last book confusing ourselves between Eustace and Edmund, and it's like, now you're gonna let us call him Scrub.
I call him Eustace a lot in my notes anyway. I call him Scrub sometimes, but
I think Scrubbo is probably the best one, but it's fine, it doesn't matter. But Jill is not impressed with Eustace, and she's just like standing on the edge, and she's just like, why are you scared, bro?
But
why
then
you
she
scared?
does look down. She's like, this is no Earth cliff. It's like 20 times taller and deeper and darker and scarier than anything that we have on our fucking round planet. This shit goes into space and below.
I have the whole quote because I was like,
this is my... no. This is worse than Deep Dark Ocean.
It says, imagine yourself at the top of the very highest cliff you know, and imagine yourself looking down to the very bottom. And then imagine that the precipice goes on below that, as far again, 10 times as far, 20 times as far. And when you look down at the distance, imagine all the little white things that might at first glance be mistaken for sheep, but presently you realize that are clouds, not little wreaths of mist, but enormous white puffy clouds, which are rather as big as mountains themselves. And at last, in between those clouds, you get your first glimpse of the real bottom so far away that you can't make out whether it's a field or wood or land or water, further below those clouds than you are above them. So the way that he writes it's so confusing.
Right, like the ground is closer to the clouds than you are to the clouds.
Further below those clouds than you are above them.
Or maybe not. Maybe he's saying that the ground is further below the clouds than you are. Yeah, than you are above them. So as far as it is for you to see ginormous clouds look like sheep, the ground is even further than that. So the 20 times down further than the furthest cliff you've ever seen to see the clouds, the ground is probably 40 times taller. You would be falling. This is like Spy Kids. You would be falling for an hour.
I can't even comprehend how tall that is, but like for whatever reason, like even though I'm not afraid of heights, I think I probably would show a little bit more reserve than Jill does, but like it seems that she doesn't even realize what's happening because she's trying to tease Eustace, and then all of a sudden like everything's swimming before her eyes.
Yeah, because she's like, she probably looks down
Mm-hmm.
and sees how, one, how far it is, and two, she gets a little closer to the edge than she normally would, and so
Right.
she's like, whoa. It's like probably kind of the feeling of falling already because you're standing on so little ground, and she's like, I need to step away. And she's like, I'm also never gonna make fun of people for not liking heights ever again.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
she's like, kind of like you said, spinning, and she's feeling woozy and puddly, and Eustace is like, are you okay?
What are you doing, Bo? From back here, you little idiot.
And she kind of like comes to when Eustace grabs her,
yeah.
and all of a sudden,
But
like,
she has no
she's-
control.
Yeah, she's back in her body, but she's like still fucking limp and weird, and they have this kind of struggle. And also because she doesn't like people thinking that she can't do stuff, like she can do it herself, and so she's like trying to get him out of her grasp and ends up throwing him off the cliff. Well, it says he loses his balance, but I think she threw him. I think that I can like see it. He is holding her, and she's kind of like twisting and twists to the left, and he loses his balance, but he only fell because he tried to help her. He's doing the right thing.
Well, yeah, it talks about how there are two things she would remember as long as she lived, and it came back to her in her dreams that she had wrenched herself free of Scrub's clutches. So I wonder, like, yeah, and then at the same time, Eustace had almost lost his balance and gone hurtling into the depths. So I think you are right.
See, almost lost his balance.
No,
Oh.
that was just me
Oh,
saying.
okay,
At the
okay.
same time, those were ants. So it's, yeah, she
Okay.
had to wrench himself free of his
Yeah,
clutches,
and-
and at the same time, he had lost his balance. So and gone hurtling into the depths. So it is possible that she hadn't necessarily thrown him. I guess it is possible that like while trying to help her, she was like, "No, get off of me," and then he did just lose his
Yeah.
balance and fall. But who's to say?
As-
But despite clearly haunting her to the grave, in that moment, JP didn't really have a lot of time to think about it, because then all of a sudden there's like this,
brightly colored thing.
yeah, and it says that it was laying down, leaning over, and blowing out as steadily as a vacuum cleaner sucks in.
Yeah, like it runs up to the edge of the cliff, leans over the edge, and starts blowing. I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Like,
I don't
what?
remember this book at all. Jill's like, I wish I could faint, but faint doesn't come to the asking. Like, you can't get out that easy, girl. Your friend just fell off a cliff, and she's just laying on the ground, just kind of like, fuck, what the fuck. And she gets up, and she sees the small speck of Eustace. But
Do we know that it's Eustace?
Well, I think it says the small speck she thinks is Eustace. Or
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
But you see the small speck, and it's kind of being pushed further and further away, but also rising. Like it's not falling anymore. And she turns to look at the creature that's blowing, and the creature is a lion. I read this wrong when the creature first appeared. I read it as a brightly feathered creature or something, so I thought that it was a bird. And the bird was like blowing or something, and then it was a lion. And I was like, did he pull one of those sheep to lion transfiguration things? And I went back and I was like, no. I just added a whole word that wasn't there. No worries.
Birds
no worries.
don't have lips.
Yeah, because it did say that it had a pursed lips. Like a flute.
And that's the end of the chapter.
Yeah, it's a good a cliffhanger, if you will. Which brings us to chapter 2. Jill is given a task.
So much blowing, we get it.
And when the lion is done blowing, it just walks away. And Jill's like rationalizing that it wasn't her fault. And she's like, ugh, but it doesn't matter, because she thinks about the scream that he screamed, and she just bursts into tears. And I'm like,
it was this old dream. Everything, this is not happening.
yeah, she's like, this isn't happening. It's not real. It's not real. It's not happening. But she's like, I'm not waking up. And holy fuck, I can't get that sound out of my head. And I would just start crying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't, because you know in your heart of hearts that it is real, and that you're in this different world, and the one person who knew anything about this world that brought you here is now gone, and you don't know what's going on, and there's a fucking lion, and
I mean, I would know it's real because I can cry, because I don't break down and cry in stressful dreams. Just, like dream stuff happens, so I feel like I would also cry. But
I think she's still got her residual crying from when she didn't get to finish her cry earlier. So she's just like emotionally still kind of raw.
Well, and crying is all right in its way while it lasts, but you have to stop sooner or later, and then you still have to decide what to do.
And she sits up, and there's no bird singing anymore.
Mm-mm.
But she does hear running water, and she realizes how thirsty she is.
But there's so many trees, and if there's lions, there could be tigers,
Or
bears. But she's so thirsty that it makes her courageous, and she creeps cautiously, tiptoeing and peering around the silent woods until the sound becomes clearer and clearer with each step, until she comes into an open glade with a stream bright as fuck right in front of her, and it cannot be that easy.
Why?
Because we're at the beginning.
Because that's why it is easy.
I don't
It's
know.
her first visit. It's not Lucy and all of their second visit, Prince Caspian, let's eat apples for 25 days and nothing else.
But Jill is no Lucy.
Jill, I had high hopes for her, and she has let me down, unfortunately.
I think it's because...
A 10-year-old girl has let me down yet again.
I mean, Lucy took her shoes with her when she left. So I think, Jill has a lot to fill in for, but it's not necessarily for Lucy. I think it really just is for all the Pevensey children, because, anyone looks good compared to Eustace.
Yeah, valid.
Yeah, so this thirst is getting thirster.
And she's just sitting by the stream, so it's like you're looking at what you want.
Yeah.
And it's hot.
And so she's like, all right, and then
Fuck it.
freezes, because what, of course, is lying on the other side of the stream? But the lion. Looks like one of the ones in Trafalgar Square.
Trafalgar Square. And I looked it up because I didn't really know what that looked like. I knew, but I wasn't sure, and I looked it up, and yeah, it's just the classic lion, cat laying with the paws out, and the lion looks at her, and she gets the feeling that it knows her well and doesn't think much of her. Damn! Scorned.
Yeah, they looked at each other for hours, or what seemed like hours.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because now she sees the lion. She's like, fuck, I can't go drink. It's gonna eat me. It's gonna eat me.
She looks at him.
He looks at her.
And
Maybe
then
she won't be my favorite.
Well, and then the lion says to her, "If you're thirsty, you may drink."
And then she's like, oh, it can talk? And now she's scared of it in a different way. Now it's more like a sphinx. Like, is it going to tell me a riddle and then eat me? Or, like, it's not just any old predator, don't move and it might walk away.
Yeah. No, it's just, I feel like it's just, it kind of, it's silent because she's not sure. And then it says, "If you're thirsty, come and drink." And like, oh, duh, the animals can talk here. So this must be the lion. Because like, she sees his lips move at this point.
Yeah.
So it's like, it wasn't the voice of a man. It was much deeper, wilder, and stronger, and sort of heavy golden voice. Oh, why would you throw the gold at the end?
Yeah, that's weird. And she's scared, but she finds herself stepping forward. She's asking him questions, and he's answering them.
Mm-hmm.
And the answers are not putting her at ease, but she's still stepping forward toward the stream.
Jill asks, "Do you eat girls?" And he says, "I have swallowed up girls, boys, women, men, kings, and emperors, cities, and realms."
Yeah.
Honestly, so
Yeah, he answers. She doesn't like the answer, but
I just love that. I mean, like, the way it's delivered, I'm sure, is much more deadpan. But, like, I mean, honestly, it's just like there's, like, the lion's like, you need to drink. You're gonna die. Like, you're gonna die of thirst. And she's just like, okay, but can you not watch me?
But she bends down to drink the water, and it's the most refreshing water she has ever tasted. And she intends to make a run for it after she drinks, but knows that it would catch her. And so she just stands up, and he asks what happened to the boy. And he asks why he fell off the cliff, getting her to own up to showing off. And he tells her, don't do that again. He gives his, his Aslan quiet guilt trip and shame routine that he gives to everybody. And she asks where he went, and he says that he blew him into Narnia. And I was like, wait, what? Then where the fuck are we right now? Like, if Eustace has now been blown into Narnia, where are we? We don't get to find out, really. But he being Aslan, intends to send Jill on a quest. And that's what he called her for.
I just thought we were, like, I thought we were in Narnia up until this point. And, like, I do remember, like, making note. But I'm like, I wonder if we're in some surrounding country or maybe even Aslan's country.
I think we might be in Aslan's country.
Yeah. Also,
specifically because of what he says a little later, I think. But yeah, he called them here, and she's like, I was under the assumption I got here because I wanted to. Like, we called you, we asked to come. And he says, you would not have called to me unless I was calling to you. And then he gives her the lowdown on the quest.
He's like, you've got a series of quests, you've got some tasks, and she doesn't really necessarily say it out loud, but she just thinks, like, surely the lion has made a mistake and thinks that she's somebody else. But, like, she doesn't want to say it, so she feels really conflicted. And the lion says, speak your thought, human child. And Jill's just like, okay, well, are you sure? I don't really understand why it would be me. And then, and that's when Aslan is just like, you would not be here unless I would have called you. And in the Bible, in Exodus, there's a part where, as many of us know, Moses talks to a burning bush. And there's a very particular part at the end of it where Moses, this is a recurring theme in those stories where he's just like, how am I going to do this? Like, what do you mean I'm going to do this thing? I'm going to do these tasks. And it's just, and like, to me, this is like when Aslan says, like, I called you here. It's just like that same energy. It's like, didn't I give consciousness to you? Like, is it not I that, like, made everything? So she doesn't know Aslan enough to know the power of him being like, I called you here to do this thing. But I think this is kind of one of the first times that I mean, like, I don't know. I don't think the Pevensey children were like, why did we get to go to Narnia or whatever? Like, no one ever
really
wonders why.
it.
Jill's the only one who's like, why me? And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
It's also slightly different because the Pevensies were children of prophecy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, they were told, you're the chosen one. So
there's
there's like a little less of why me? Because there's 4 siblings and you're here and you're the only people that have been here. Like, it's more self-explanatory versus this one. Yeah, is very, it's understandable that she's feeling why me. Even if she knew the stories, because like the Pevensies, yes, the chosen prophetic children, and then when Edmund and Lucy come back, it's with their cousin, so there's still some blood relation, there's still something there. Why her? Why Jill?
Yeah.
So even if she knew, I think that there could still be some self-doubt. Is I think what it is supposed to be, where it's really just like realistic thinking.
Well, I mean, and for those of us who really remember the story, or maybe just watch The Prince of Egypt too much, Moses sees the burning bush when he's in the desert because he had to escape his brother and Egypt. So it does kind of have that correlating theme of, them ending up in Narnia and like having to do these tasks, and like, would Moses's tasks have still been given to him? Would it still have been as difficult if he hadn't run away? I don't know. So anyway, essentially, Jill is more redeemed in my eyes because she has more humility, because she's just like, who am I?
Right. She is not self-important.
Yeah.
Like, of course, I've been waiting for this type of thing to happen.
Mm-hmm. And Jill just says, well, then you are somebody, sir. And the lion says, I am.
I am somebody.
And then we get to hear the tasks.
Right. He gives her a lowdown on the quest. He says that there was an old king in Narnia. His son was stolen from him many years ago, and he thinks that his son is dead and no longer has an heir. But Aslan knows that he's alive. He's alive! And he bequests Jill to seek this prince until she finds him and brings him home, dies trying, or else somehow goes back to her world. Which is a weird little caveat. There does seem to be like an escape route, and I think that
like an eject button.
I think it's just a test. I don't think that she has it, but I do think that if she clicked her heels 3 times, and I think he would send her home, because you don't have to do the right thing.
Maybe she was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to go back.
He would send her back.
Yeah.
You don't have to do the right thing, but he wants you to do the right thing, and so he's testing you, and he's asking you to do the right thing, or else somehow gone back to her world. There is an escape route, and, it might be him, it might be some sorceress or wizard we meet along the way would have the power to send her home, some star.
Anyway, okay. Task number 1.
First, as soon as the boy Eustace sets foot in Narnia, he will meet an old and dear friend. He must greet that friend at once. If he does, you will both have good help.
Task number 2.
You must journey out of Narnia to the north till you come to the ruined city of the ancient giants.
Task number 3.
You shall find a writing on a stone in that ruined city, and you must do what the writing tells you.
Task number 4.
You will know the lost prince, if you find him, by this, that he will be the first person you have met in your travels, who will ask you to do something in my name, in the name of Aslan.
For Aslan!
For Narnia!
Also, they have to journey north out of Narnia, and North Out of Narnia is such a good band name.
Oh my god.
So after all this grandiose, Jill's pretty sure the lion's done, and then she's just like, oh fuck, I should say something. So she says, thank you very much. I see. Damn it, Jill.
Thank you.
Thanks. It's an avocado. Thanks. Yeah, no.
And he's like, no, that was important.
Like,
so you're going to repeat that back to me until you can do it perfectly. And they run that drill a couple times.
And she's like, I go to this, there's a prince and a lion. Yeah, and she does not remember.
It takes a minute.
But Aslan's really patient with her. He's really sweet.
And he helps, and she is eventually able to recite it perfectly without really thinking about it. She says it just as you heard it earlier. I'm not going to say it again. And they start walking toward the cliff. and he tells Jill he's going to blow her west as he did Eustace, and there's no time to spare.
Yeah, he's gonna blow her first class baby on the breath of Aslan Air. This episode is sponsored by Aslan Air. Aslan Air, deep breath in, deep roar out. Roar noise.
Would he have the ability to harness any directional wind, or just the ones blowing from the utter east to the west?
I think if you make the wind, you can probably control what direction it goes.
Okay.
Oh, like not in the, just like, I mean, I don't know. I'm guessing
Yeah.
like he's Islan.
Yeah, right. He's Aslan.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like CS being he, plays on different Greek mythologies and stuff like that. With and we've got directional winds. It's like the utter east. Like but
Maybe this
I
also,
think with Aslan, yeah, he could blow it
well, like how she
any direction. Aslan can blow it in any direction.
think, well, like in the movie, The Dawn Treader, how Lucy blows on the magic book, which doesn't actually happen. There's a couple times where in the silver chair, I was like, oh, this sort of thing seems to have happened in the movie version only, and I wonder if like somebody actually really did their homework and went through and pulled some of those things. So like
some of the themes from Silverchair,
exactly,
because those two were worked on not together, but when Fox did Dawn Treader, they had plans to do Silverchair, so they may very well have.
It's a bummer.
Uh,
Well, Jill's like, okay, well, we're going to catch him in time. Like, do we have, like, what's going on? And of course, there's no time to spare. So good thing we wasted all this time with a water standoff,
Yeah,
But,
Jesus.
and, he needs to send her at once. And he tells her to walk before him to the edge of glory.
Another test. She's got to walk in front of him to the edge. Not with him, side by side, not following him. And she's not comfortable with him like Lou was or any of our friends. She wishes that Scrub was here with her, mostly just because two people would have heard the list from Aslan, and it would be two people able to remember and read the signs. But
It's her fault.
it's her quest. It's her fault that he's not here.
Mm-hmm.
So they stop well before the edge. It's not like he pushes her to the edge like where she was previously.
Yeah. No, she like goes to this spooky edge, and he tells her to stand still and says, "But first, remember the signs. Say them to yourself when you wake in the morning and when you lie down at night, and when you wake in the middle of the night. And whatever strange things might happen to you, let nothing turn your mind from following the signs. And secondly, I give you a warning. Here on the mountain I have spoken to you clearly, and I will often do so down in Narnia. Here on the mountain the air is clear and your mind is clear. As you drop down into Narnia, the air will thicken. Take great care that it does not confuse your mind, and the signs which you have learned here will not look as you expected them to look when you meet them there. That is why it is so important to know them by heart and pay no attention to appearances. Remember the signs and believe the signs. Nothing else matters. And now, daughter of Eve, farewell!"
This makes me think of how Narnia or Aslan is able to change people's minds to like be more accepting and kind of the opposite when they return to London World.
Air pressure?
Like at the end of the last book, after Reepicheep, R.I.P., goes to Aslan's country, the kids, the three of them hold hands and they walk north along the wall of water, and they start to feel more like kids and less like seafaring Narnian royalty and cousin. This part is what I was talking about earlier when I said that I do think this is Aslan's country because of what he says here. Because if that is what happens when you go from Narnia to London World, your brain fogs and you can't understand the magic and you can't remember and you're a child again, then if you're getting that treatment coming from where you are now going down into Narnia, like you've got to be on some other shit where you're able to just comprehend. So like she's able to just look at things as they are and understand them, and I think that that's also why when she sees Aslan, she knows he doesn't really like her. It's like there's no secrets here, and he sees her and he knows what she's thinking. Also, he's Aslan, so extra powerful. But
Yeah, maybe he's just... I don't want to say he's disappointed in her, but like,
I mean, he He's disappointed in her as
But
he
he
was
does-
disappointed in Edmund.
Yeah, he does like her though. But I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just it's just a bummer. But I think what's funny is that she really expected Aslan's breath would be like a gut punch, but it really is not anything. She like
Yeah, it's soft.
she had like her fist clenched and her teeth clenched, and she's like, all right.
But she didn't even notice she was moving until Aslan's voice was fading away, as you
Right,
did
I know.
earlier.
And she was so comfortable being able to move in any way that she pleased, just as you can in water.
Yeah, like zero gravity.
And because she's going at breath speed, there's no wind, the air was warm, there's no noise, there's no vibration. It's like being in a balloon, only better. Aslan Air, first in luxury, first in Narnia.
Aslan.
We've got Jill doing a rotage in her comfortable little air cocoon, and she
Yes.
sees that mountain was indeed huge, and she's like, oh yeah, this is a different world. And she's so high up she can't tell if she's floating land or like how fast she's going, and like just trying to remember the signs, trying to keep them fresh on her mind. And like she can't remember how long she's been floating, and like all of a sudden she wakes up again from a several hour nap. So
Right, the sun's in a different position.
how
She's-
far away was she?
That's when I was like, this probably was Aslan's country, because she's been floating for so long.
It took them weeks to get there.
Yeah.
And she just like, she's like, fancy sleeping on air. I wonder if anyone's done it before. I don't suppose they have. Paid for in part by Aslan Air. Aslan Air. Sleep on it, bitch.
Aslan.
This seems to be a recurring theme where, Jill is worried about like whether or not Eustace has gotten to do something already, or, she just assumes that nobody else has gotten to fly in air. She doesn't know that our little dragon boy has gotten to fly, period. Like a bird the way he flies.
And then she sees some islands. And I was like, oh my god, is it Dorne? Is it Dragon Island? Is it Deathwater Island?
I wonder.
And then it says that she would be jealous if she found out that Eustace had seen some of these islands both from the deck of a ship and landing on them. So they are those islands, and that's when I solidified in my mind that they were indeed in Aslan's country,
Oh, yeah.
and they have been swooshing along. I think that the islands were actually probably the Lone Islands, because shortly afterward she sees a big long line, meaning a
Yeah.
large piece of land.
I feel like this is like, first of all, hello, jealous Jill. But I kind of figured like this part is somewhere between like the Soarin' over California ride mixed with like the end of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy when they're like flying over.
Yeah,
just
the
like
New World.
yeah, the Reading Rainbow theme is playing, and just like but she's also kind of getting damp.
Yeah, she flies through a cloud. So jealous.
Just like
I
a-
know that it's not soft and cotton candy and wonderful, and she gets wet.
Mm-hmm.
But
But it's like the sunlight, I mean, she's damp, but like I don't know, it just seems like if she's pretty damp, but she's wearing a blazer, socks, sweater, stockings, shorts, thick shoes, and like
yeah, she's fresh from London World.
also, and she noticed that there's no noise for the first time since she started her flight. Aslan Air, shh, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. And then the noise of the waves, the crying of seagulls, the smell of the sea.
Smell and see.
Makes sense that clouds and air wouldn't really smell.
Yeah.
And like she can tell she's going super fast now because of the smacking and the spouting foam that's getting closer and closer
Right.
to her. And I feel like also the idea of just like flying over it motionless, and like it is very much like an albatross
Yeah.
hanging
just
motionless
gliding
upon
in.
the air. And just
She flies lower and lower. She comes into a river off the coast, and she goes a little bit left towards the bank. She sees a fancy, shiny ship, a crowd of people in gay clothes. It's the Pride Parade, baby! Pride Parade! Today, you...
tomorrow for Jill, honey, she's pretty much drenched from the waist down because
Yeah.
of this water
She, like-
splashing.
Yeah, it's like the Harry on the Hippogriff when he gets too
Yeah.
close to the water and she's getting all splashed up on.
But she just like kind of like all of a sudden is just like standing under a thicket of trees by the riverside, and
There's scrub.
Yeah, a few feet from her. And the first thing that JP notices, Eustace looks like shit. And the second thing that JP notices is she's wet as fuck.
Yeah.
Damp.
And I think this makes sense. Like, he's got his sepia filter on. You know what I mean? His old, I'll say it one more time, his old London World clothes.
And he didn't get talked to Aslan.
No. And now he's in Technicolor Oz. And that's all that she's been looking at for the past long while is bright colors, bright ocean, bright gay pride parade, and then beige scrub.
She's the lady who fell from the stars.
But he's still there. I was like, the sun changed positions during her flight, and he's like, I thought he might be asleep, but they address it shortly into the next chapter. I was like, did Aslan like keep him asleep?
Yeah.
But he just sped up Jill, I think is what they say.
Yeah, just patiently. I'm just like, I'll just wait here.
Which also makes sense because Eustace isn't wet, but he like shot Jill over real quick, and maybe there was wind from the blowing, and it caused the wake of the water to splish up.
Ooh, the pre-blow. Well, I hated it. Let's just wrap this one up.
Yeah. Let's get into the next chapter. Chapter 3. The Sailing of the King. Yeah, and here's the confirmation. They just look plain because the surroundings are so vibrant. Jill also looks plain.
Yeah. And, like, this is nice because I feel like when we've come to Narnia for a minute, it hasn't... Well, I guess last time we came to Narnia, it was just into the water. But before, when it was Prince Caspian, you know, we weren't getting the fanfare and we weren't getting to see Narnia in the golden age or in any kind of good age. You know, it was just ruins. And so this is what I imagine Narnia looked like when the Pevensies were enrolled. Like, it, you know, just gold, crimson banners and, you know, like, of course, like a giant ship with a high poop.
Yes, a high poop. And we come a little bit later to find out that there's an old man coming onto the ship. I think a high poop deck would mean that there's more space under the ship. And since there's an older, you know, it's not a big adventure ship. Let's be on the deck and fighting, and because the Dawn Treader had a big fighting deck, it's specified. This has more inside space, more luxury.
Cruising.
It's like an RV.
Shuffleboard. Hey there, kids. You want to play some hoop rope?
Yeah, and hoop rope.
I don't know.
Yeah, this boat has got a great flag at the masthead, many banners waving from the decks, and a row of shields, bright as silver, along the bulwarks, which I think is just like the edge.
Like, as fancy as a Dawn Treader would have been, like, relatively at the beginning, before, you know, storms and
giving early
serpents.
Dawn Treader Viking ship vibes.
Yeah, and then there's this old man wearing, you know, he's got his silver mail shirt, and he's got a little gold crown on his head, and he's got a white wool beard, and he just looks like a sweet old man. And, you know, he's got, it says, he looked as if a puff of wind could blow him away, and his eyes were watery.
Yeah, he's just like sweet old man. He's leaning on a younger, like, richly dressed lord. And they also see what at first they think is like a pile of robes in a chariot. It moves, and they notice that it's a dwarf, equally as well dressed as the king. He's got velvet, and he's like, oof, oof, and also equally as old, which is why he's being drawn around in this small chariot driven by a donkey.
I'm sorry, I just cannot get over the insult of being like a pile of robes.
They're like, oh, what is that lump of land? Oh no, that's a being. It's alive.
It's alive.
And then I was like, wait, is it him? Is it him? Is it my sisters and lollipops? And Jill notices that it's not just humans awaiting the words of this king, but all sorts of beings that we know and love, satyrs and fawns, centaurs and dwarves, as well as all of our animal friends, bears, badgers, moles, leopards, mice, and various birds.
I love various burbs. This episode is sponsored by Various Burbs. What's that outside the window? Shut it now. Various Burbs. And of course, the Mushkas, they stand on their hind legs. They're over 2 feet tall.
No, we know the Mushka.
Is very tall. And Jill thought, golly, so it is true after all. I wonder, are they friendly? I actually like Jill a lot more. She's Southern.
Yeah, if she's from Kansas, if this is Wizard of Oz and she's Dorothy, yeah.
She had noticed that there were 1 or 2 giants, or it says some people of whom she couldn't give any name at all.
Yes, creatures.
And then, of course, this brings Aslan rushing back to her mind, and then she's like, oh, shit.
Fuck. Do I know the signs? And she grabs Eustace.
Yeah, Scribby.
And
Scrabbo.
he was so caught up in all of this fanfare and ceremony that he hadn't even noticed that she had appeared.
I mean, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, like I thought that he was asleep because it just says there was Scrub. It doesn't say they greet. It doesn't say they hug. It doesn't say anything.
Yeah, it's a few feet from him, so she could have been behind him. She could have been out of view.
Right.
But, like,
And he's like, oh, there you are. Like,
and she's like, come on, we
yeah,
gotta
like,
go.
I have important
shit to do.
information. I met that lion guy, and he's like, shut up. She's like, do you recognize anybody? He's like, no. I don't even know where the fuck I am. Like,
Right?
what are you talking about?
She's like, no, Aslan, the lion. I've seen him.
Yeah, she's like, you said you've been here before. And he's
Right.
like, well, not exactly. And this is, he hasn't been to Narnia, the country, just the world of. And then I was like, is it the world of Narnia? Does the planet have a name? Do we get to learn what the planet's name is
That's
at
the
some
thing
point?
that's super confusing because, like, well, there's, like, the Narnian Sea. I think
Narnia's just the country. I'm really hoping that the planet does have a name. If the planet is Narnia, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love if the planet gets a name, maybe in the last battle, or maybe the horse and his boy might do some like history stuff. I don't really remember, but
maybe in a foreshadowing story we might read later.
yes, we might get a little planet name.
Yeah, but essentially, Eustace is like, I haven't been here, and she's
Right.
like, okay, well, you need to find your old friend, speak to him, and he's just like, oh, but I just said,
yeah, I don't recognize anybody.
yeah. And
Also, she does know that this is Narnia. Eustace does not know that this is Narnia. Because
He just fell off a cliff.
Aslan said, I sent him to Narnia, and I'm going to send you there too. She knows context. She's not giving Eustace context. You can't just say, hey, do you understand? Do you recognize any of these people? If you told him, this is Narnia, Aslan told me this is Narnia, do you recognize anybody? He would have some more context because he knows about the time stuff. He knows about the wibbly wobbly. He knows it. It would give him the context, but she doesn't do it.
She just would have, the first thing she would have said is, I know why we're here. This is what we're supposed to do. I need you to listen. He wouldn't have cared so much about this king and his speech that's happening right now, but instead he's just like, he doesn't care about what Jill has to say.
He's like,
you pushed me off the mountain, bitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We don't really get the king's speech because his voice is so old and crackly that they could understand very little about what he said, especially because it was all about people and places they'd never heard of. And
well, I think that it's because we're over Jill's shoulder throughout this book, and I think that if we were in Eustace's shoes, he would still not remember or recognize much, but I think he would recognize more.
Yeah.
Obviously, not enough. But the king kisses the dwarf on both cheeks and climbs aboard the ship. And as
Hankies.
our two, people are shouting and cheering and waving, and the ship
trumpet sound
sails off, and our two friends get up to adventure more or whatever, and then this giant fucking dwarf-sized 2.5 foot tall white owl flies up to them and asks who they are.
I'm sorry, 2.5 foot what now?
A white owl. A white owl. A who, and asks them who they are. Eustace tells him his name is Scrub. Eustace says, my name is Scrub. This is Pole. What the fuck? You have been here before. You've done adventures in Narnia. Your name exists in this sphere. And we don't get it later on where he goes, well, I was trying to play it safe and not tell people who I am. No, he's just being fucking stupid right now.
I mean, the owl does not question the names at all.
No.
Because, it just says,
He's like, okay, sure.
You're in the land of Narnia at the king's castle of Harfang.
Ooh, I'm so excited to see it again. Ooh. And since it's an animal, I did have to look up the symbolism.
Yes, please.
And the white owl is often seen as a symbol of, surprisingly, wisdom and intelligence due to its keen senses and abilities to see things from a different perspective. Blah, blah, blah. The symbolism is reflected in many cultures. We have another... Oh, no, that's it. That's it. Symbol of wisdom and intelligence. I thought I had another one. But the Athena has a white owl. I'm pretty sure her owl is white.
The goddess Athena.
The goddess Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom. And
Interesting.
they tell this owl that they were sent by Aslan, and Jill says that they are on the quest for the lost prince. And the owl's like, really? All right,
LOL.
let's go. We're gonna go meet the Lord Regent, Trumpkin the dwarf.
It's rare that, I mean, like, usually, like, the next book we might get to see a character again, but it is a real treat to have a friend from Prince Caspian here all this time later. So it's nice to see you, Trumpkin. We missed you.
We missed you, baby boy. Eustace immediately asks what the king's name is, because I think that as soon as he hears the name Trumpkin, his heart sinks, because he's starting to click all the pieces into place. Just as I started to click all the pieces into place as soon as I saw that there was a dwarf and a king.
I immediately put the pieces into place because I was like, who the fuck is Eustace going to know there?
Yeah.
Well, the owl says, Caspian the 10th.
And Eustace is frozen in his steps with an expression Jill describes as he had never looked so sick.
An extraordinary color.
He probably does feel like vomiting. It's so much different for him than for the Pevensies. They didn't see any of their friends age and die and do anything, but like Scrub just saw this old man. He saw him give a speech. He saw him before Jill showed up. He made assumptions about him. You know what I mean? Like, he's telling this story. He doesn't know he's in Narnia, so he's running with it. He's probably making up all this fantastical whatever. And then he finds out that it's fucking Caspian, his friend, somebody who called him a brother. And, like, the dichotomy isn't really the word I want, but, like, those clashing realities of the assumed realities he made about that old man, and that being his friend, who was only a couple years older than him, is so much more of a mindfuck, I think, than for the Pevensies to just, like, never see them again. Yeah. Which is also so sad. I'm not saying that it's not sad that all your friends are dead. But
it makes me think of Cowboy Bebop, how Faye's character has some sort of illness that can't be cured in her timeline, so they freeze her, and then when she wakes up hundreds of years later and they can't, when her illness has been cured, lickety split, no one, I think like it's been like the grandchild of someone she knew is an old woman at that point. I think maybe that's like the time lapse. And like Faye goes through a lot in that episode, so I can only imagine what our boy Eustace is processing in that moment. So it's just like, okay, cool. Well, not really any time to process or communicate that. So, but then of course, because the dwarf now is getting involved, and of course he cannot hear very well. So we have one of those really long conversations that is miscommunications abound.
Jill, he thinks people have been killed and whatever, and so they just move on. They're like, this is useless. And he's like, useless? What? And the owl goes,
not useless, Eustace.
Used to it, is he? I don't know what you're talking about, I'm sure. I'll tell you what it is, Master Glimfeather. When I was a young dwarf, there used to be talking beasts and birds in this country who could really talk. There wasn't all this mumbling and muttering and whispering. It wouldn't have been tolerated for a moment. Not for a moment. Sir Ernest, my trumpet, please.
And then he had this like little tiny little fawn.
Cute little fawn.
Yeah, just hands him a silver-eared trumpet. It was made like the musical instrument called the serpent. And yeah, it's got a little tube that can curl around his neck. So it seems like it's going to sort the problem, but
doesn't really.
No, it doesn't. Essentially just a lot of toohooing and misunderstanding, and just yeah, like this is obvious. Trumpkin is clearly not going to be the person who helps them out in this situation because he can't hear and he's not listening.
I do have some name origins though, even though I'm pretty sure we're never gonna see Ernest the Fawn ever again. I figured I would just why not? Let's see. He put in some effort naming him. We'll put in some effort to see what it means. Ern, obviously, an urn is late Middle English from Latin urna, related to Ursus, meaning pitcher, or some sort of carrying device, and us. So this is just like a noun placement kind of thing in Latin. I have it says, whereas English mostly marks a noun's role in a sentence by position, Latin marks it based on the ending of the word. It has 5 sets of endings called declensions, blah, 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 blah. But a lot of this certain type of declension noun are the ones that were brought into the English words. So lots of urnus, magnum, opus, all these us and ums. It's just kind of like a masculine word or whatever. So it's just like a pitcher boy. Like literally his name is like the pitcher boy. Like the fetching boy kind of thing.
He's the water boy.
He's the water boy. And that's literally, it is what he is.
That's amazing.
And I've also got glim feather. Glim is something that furnishes light, such as a candle or a lantern. So he's like glowing feather, like light feather. He's super cute. White. He's white owl. It makes sense. He glows in the nighttime.
Mm-hmm. They're woodland albatross.
Yes, exactly. But they get Trumpkin all the information. It just doesn't really sink in all the way.
He's moved by it, and he's like, oh, it would have been really nice for the king to have seen you, and like it probably would have brought back his youth for a moment, but like I don't think he really realizes like.
No, well, he didn't go on the journey. He doesn't know the importance of it.
He was holding down Narnia.
He was.
And
he tells the owl to treat them like royal guests and
see that they're properly washed.
Which he like old person whispers, so he basically shouts it. And I don't know if it's like, are they muddy? Do they just smell bad because they're from London?
I think also their clothes just look weird, and like everybody looks all fancy and nice because it's like the king's farewell.
And they're wearing like old wool.
Do you think that when Caspian gets to the world's end, he gets his Reepigeep will be waiting for him?
Of course.
I didn't grab the box of tissues.
Well, we don't know where he's going yet.
Okay,
we'll talk about that in a minute. But they walk. How many times do they walk? They walk into the castle.
Walk in the castle.
Through the same north gate and the same apple orchard that our Pevensey kids walked through during Prince Caspian.
I just said I forgot to grab the box of tissues.
And I just wanted to give a shout out to our chief mole, Lily Gloves, again, who convinced the Pevenseys all those thousands of years ago to plant this apple orchard because they would thank themselves for it. And they did, and I'm sure that these yellow gold beautiful apples have fed many a Narnian in these times. And they walk into the castle now, escorted by Glimfeather, and Jill meets someone who's going to show her to her room and help her get dressed and stuff. She's described as not much taller than Jill herself, and a good deal slenderer, but obviously full-grown, graceful as a willow, and her hair was willowy too, and there seemed to be moss in it. I think that she's like a tree dryad.
Yeah, that's...
And so they're not very big, but definitely a full-grown being. And this is what I felt like was... I didn't really like it, because I felt like it was giving replacement of Lucy by forcing this relationship with the nature spirit on Jill's behalf, and I didn't like it.
This part, I was just like, we'll have you washed and dried. I just was like, I just was just like, is this so Jill can bring honor to Aslan? But
being pampered and bathed, and she has clothes laid out for her princess.
And this is always a thing, though, with, where it's like, they get cleaned up, spiffed up in new Narnian clothes.
Yes.
And, like, this time...
I love this, though, because it's like, that's the energy. Is like very happy, bouncy, bubbly. She's like, I'm the princess. And then Eustace knocks and comes in and pops her energy bubble. He's not having a good time this round because the Caspian thing is really weighing on him.
Honestly, this is giving Wizard of Oz, where it's like, oh, like you were a friend of Prince Caspian as used? That's a horse of a different color. In my haircuts, jello-colored horses.
And he tries to confide in Jill here, and she doesn't really seem to get it either. Like, I don't know.
Well, so here's the only reason I can understand is because I've watched a lot of fucked up dystopian thrillers, as I know we both have. But like, I look at it in a Black Mirror kind of way, because Jill's like, why does it upset you to see him as an old man? And it's like, because you knew someone who is like basically your age, and then all of a sudden no time passes and they've become an old person. It's basically Jack.
Yeah, you've missed out. I've got a little quote here. He says, and to see that old man with a white beard, and to remember Caspian as he was the morning we captured the Lone Islands, or in the fight with the sea serpent. Oh, it's frightful. It's worse than coming back and finding him dead.
Yeah. And she says, oh, shut up. It's much worse because we already muffed the first sign. And like now she tells him about the conversation with Aslan and the tasks and finding the lost prince and all the stuff they have to do. So she's like, you did find an old friend. It's just like Aslan said, you just like didn't speak to him. And so now everything's fucked up. And
right. So that's a yes on the no help from Caspian.
Yeah.
She goes, if only you'd listened to me when I tried to tell you, we'd be all right.
Well, Ian pushed me off the fucking edge of a cliff and tried to murder me.
All right, I said murder, and I'll say it again as often as I like. So keep your hair on.
They murdered him.
I love that he says, keep your hair on.
Keep it on. Yeah, there's a lot of snippety, and she thinks that Eustace was there for hours before her, but he was only there for a minute. So like,
yeah, he's like, he probably blew you there quicker to make up for lost time.
Maybe he just did it in like slow mo.
I find it more likely that he blew Eustace slower so that he'd have more time with Jill to guilt her and teach her the stuff that he knew she needed to know.
Because he's not wet. It just says he
Eustace is not wet, so I don't think that he came in causing a splash of the river. I think that he came in slow and gliding, and he took forever.
And you know what? That's what happens when you don't fly. Aslan Air. Aslan Air. Anything else is a mistake, Eustace.
Aslan Air.
Ooh, and now we get to have a supper in the Great Hall.
Ooh, supper.
A most splendid thing they had ever seen. I love that, and we do get a list.
Their friendship is saved by the bell. They're about to throw fists.
They're hungo.
They're hungo. Eustace is distraught. Jill is also distraught because she thinks she just fucked up the quest, and she just fucking got here, and she needs it to be Eustace's fault so that she doesn't feel bad. And then it's like dinner time. You're like, okay, pause.
We shall kill each other after dinner. It's great because when he starts off talking, there's banners, there's trumpeters and kettle drums, and like when he starts talking about the delicious food, for some reason he leads with soups.
Yes, there was soups that would make your mouth water to think of.
Oh, yeah, and lovely fishes called pevenders.
Pevenders. We've talked about this before. These are those rainbow fish that the Pevensies ate in the Golden Age. They catch them again in Edmund's hat, in Prince Caspian.
Hatfish. Fish hat?
Fish hat.
Fish hat. Thank you, fish hat.
Yes, thank you, Pevenders.
Oh, yeah, and they got venison, and peacock, and pies, ices, and jellies, and fruits, and the nuts, and a matter of wines, and a fruits, and a drinks, and even Eustace cheered up from all this. And like,
Eustace usually doesn't really like Narnian food.
No, he wants his Vita Mita Vegemix,
yes.
But and so once they'd finally all having their serious eating and drinking, a poet came forward and struck up the grand old tale of Prince Cor and Arvas and the horse Bree, which is called The Horse and His Boy, and tells of an adventure that happened in Narnia and Calormen and the lands between in the Golden Age when Peter was High King in Caer Paravel. And Sluis says, I haven't the time to tell you it now, though it's well worth hearing.
Oh, we'll tell you whether it's well worth hearing.
In due time. And yeah, all that all the snacking, drinking, forgiving, and forgetting about the things you forgot. And then it's sleepy time. Everyone's
Yeah,
tired.
Jill's like super full. She's like, I'm gonna sleep so fucking well. And CS pops in. He's like, which just goes to show how little anyone knows what is going to happen to them next. Like, is she gonna fucking be smoked? Is she gonna die? What are you talking about? He loves ending chapters either. Well, it ended with a meal and a warning.
I think it's because it's like if he doesn't have a cliffhanger, then he'll throw in shit like that.
Yeah.
Because he wants you to keep going.
Right. And after our cliffhanger from CS, we move into chapter 4, A Parliament of Oohs.
Which is a good pun.
It's so good. Like, when we get there, I guess we'll do a little spoiler. It is a parliament. Like, they're having a parliament.
Yeah, or a group of owls is called a parliament.
Yeah, and that is the collective noun for owls is parliament because they're so wise and whatever. But then we see a literal parliament of owls.
Well, and then thinking about how people in parliament dressed, like, it's funny to think about that in an owl context.
Right.
Also, but,
Owls walking around in big wigs.
and anyway, it seems that Jill is, she's, you're full, you're tired, you've traveled through a magical realm, you've really goofed a magical task you're supposed to do, you're sleepy, and Jill's so tired she can't even, she can't even change into sleepy time clothes without slumping down.
Yeah, like, it starts by saying that she takes a long time to get to bed, but it's just because she's sitting in front of a fire in a cozy chair, and she's full.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been there, and I have lost that battle many a time.
Yeah, and she says herself like about 5 times, like, oh, I gotta get up and go to bed.
Yeah.
We've all been sleepy on the couch.
Full
you know,
belly.
like, and it would be so much better. Like, it's like
you know that it would be better in bed, but also
Mhm.
you know that the bed is cold and you're warm right now.
But the good thing that she's startled by a tap on the window.
Something outside her
There's
window.
a tap, tap, tapping on the glass. Something by the window.
Oh.
And so she gets up.
And she's like, wait, what if it's a giant moth? Like, what in the intrusive thought? What the fuck are you thinking?
It was just funny because we have a friend who's really afraid of moths, and when I read that, I was like,
That's
did they write this? Yeah, no, that
What
would.
if it's a giant moth?
It's so funny. But then, of course, even worse than a giant moth, she sees a beak.
Yes, a giant beak.
Could it be an eagle?
No, it's which I'm like, how do you see the beak, but you don't see the white owl? Because it's just glint feather.
I mean, we were just in moth logic, so but of course it's another. It was the owl.
She's also half asleep / 75% asleep. So like, okay, I take it back. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. But he's like, were you serious about that quest for the Lost Prince? Because if you were, you need to go now. And you need to get ready. Like, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get Eustace. You get ready. She's like,
what?
oh, yeah, we were serious, but like,
it was in the fall and the sleepy time, and Sluis has to have another one of if Jill had been used to adventures, or had been more used to adventures, she might have doubted the owl's word. But in this circumstance, it plays into her benefit that she's sleepy and doesn't know, because like it's just kind of excited to go do this.
I don't really understand why she would have doubted. Like, are we supposed to doubt Glimfeather? I didn't really understand what the point of this aside was. I was like, wait, is he a bad guy? Like, is she not catching on to something? I felt stupid. I was like, am I not catching on to something? But I think that it just is like not as eventful as she thinks it's going to be. I think is like what it is, because Glimfeather's kind of like silly. He's not as serious as I don't know, but
she just doesn't know anyone here, and it's a goddamn giant talking owl.
Yeah,
and also he told her not to talk about the missing prince before, and so I don't know, there's a lot of conflicting things.
Right, don't talk about this to anybody, but then also come with me, because we're gonna go talk about it with people. And she just puts on a cloak with a hood, and she gets a little knife, and she gets ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, all right, you're going to have to lead the way, because I don't remember the way to this room. He's like, well, what are you talking about? We're flying.
Bitch. Jump on my back. I'll take you to safety.
And she does climb on his back, and off they fly. They
Mhm.
fly northward, and they're flying and flying. He like snaps at a bat. He eats a bat on their journey. She's like, "Don't do that. I'm gonna fall off." He's like, I was eating a bat. It's good. It's tasty. I can get one for you." No, no, thank you. Thank you, but no, thank you. And he
Yeah.
flies them to the top of the
thoughtful. It's
tower.
a thoughtful offer.
Yeah, I think it's just to show that. I think at the beginning, he felt very wise and studious and regal. Now that it's nighttime, he's definitely a little more whimsical, silly. He's snapping at bats. He's like just being
Bat
a little
snapping.
yeah. He's just being a little weird. He flies them into the tower. He doesn't say like, "Hey, you might want to duck" or anything. He just like flies into this window. She almost hits her head, doesn't, and it is filled with other owls.
It probably smells so bad
Oh
in
my
there.
god, yeah. Also, Eustace is there, so she's not alone, but it's like dark. She doesn't see him. She hears him. So it's just pitch black because the owls don't need to see. They can see very well at night. They're not going to need to light a candle or do any of that shit. So, just for context, this whole scene happens in pitch black for our two friends. Which, of course, I was imagining all the scenes in my head, and I can see it, what was happening. But for them, literally nothing is happening. It's just like, ooh, all this hooting and hollering and craziness.
Yeah. Well, it seems like your eyes would adjust at some point, but who knows how long they're in there. So.
Right. And the Parliament of Owls begins after Eustace says his little piece. He tells the owls that he was on the voyage of the Dawn Treader and that he is the king's man through and through. Like, he's tight with the king, so if this is some sort of coup or something, then he's out.
Yeah.
He's like, why can't we just tell Trumpkin the plan? Like, what is happening? And the owls are like, well, Trumpkin wouldn't let you go.
Yeah.
Because when they're like mysterious about it and kind of beat around the bush, but this quest has been outlawed by Caspian himself because they lost probably a lot
Yeah.
of
Like at
people.
least 30.
Yeah, going out searching for the prince, which I only like at this point kind of put back together that this is Caspian's son,
Mm-hmm.
that our boy Caspian has a son,
Yeah.
and that son like grew up and is now
A man.
a man and lost.
Mm-hmm. Just like he was once.
Yes.
Which means this is a half boy human, half star child.
Yeah, he's
This is some
he's
Hercules
got,
shit.
He's got the blood of the stars. He's got the blood of Adam and the blood of Narnia classic Telmar. Well, Telmar, as we learned, they're like kind of, but they've been in Narnia so long that they're not really related to the humans anymore.
Yeah.
But like some of them are, because Caspian's bloodline was, and that's why he looked so different. He was blonde. Anyway,
Just Trumpkin's a dwarf. He's going to be a stickler for rules, even though Aslan sent them there to do this thing. It's like,
yeah,
no.
unless Aslan himself came and said, "Do this thing."
Yeah, and,
He's not gonna.
and Aslan's like, no, I'm not, like,
He already came once. He told them to go on the quest.
Yeah.
That's they missed out. They were supposed to meet up with Caspian and they didn't.
you already goofed twice. I'm not flying down the mountain again.
I said they probably would have gotten a whole army/battalion to join them on their quest if Caspian had been there, but instead it seems like it's just going to be them two. And like 3 seconds later, they find out that they're like, yeah, Caspian would have sent you a whole bunch of stuff.
Crabs and crumpets.
Yeah. The owls are complaining a little bit about Trumpkin, and it gives some context here. The children begin to see that the Narnians all felt about Trumpkin as people feel at school about some crusty teacher whom everyone is a little afraid of and everyone makes fun of and nobody really dislikes. So it's like they all like him,
Yeah.
but he's also kind of scary and annoying and a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
And the children ask, well, we'll just wait. Like, can we just wait for Caspian to come back? And they don't know if he ever will return.
I'm not going to read it like an owl saw everyone. If only we knew. You see, there has been a rumor lately that Aslan himself has been seen in the islands, in Terabithia, I think it was. And the king said he would make one more attempt before he died to see Aslan face to face and ask his advice about who is to be king after him. But we're all afraid that if he doesn't meet Aslan in Terabithia, he'll go on east to Seven Isles and the Lone Isles and on and on. He never talks about it, but we all know he's never forgotten that voyage to the world's end. I'm sure in his heart of hearts, he wants to go there again.
This part breaks my heart so much more because of the movie. Like, in the movie, he makes it to the end of the world. He gets to say goodbye to Reepicheep right at the end and goodbye to the kids. And he gets to stand with Aslan as they return home. But in the book, he threw a fit when they got there. And he had to go home, leaving the 3 Earth children and Reepicheep to finish the adventure themselves. And it took them 3 more days of walking alongside this water wall before they got to the Lamb Aslan's country gate thing. Like, it wasn't
He
like
never got to say goodbye to
he
Eustace.
didn't get to say goodbye to anybody. Like, he did, but then there was more adventure, so he didn't really get to be at the end of the world. He didn't stick his hand in and feel the water and be that close. Like,
Wait, he...
all right, I guess he did
Yeah.
at that point, and that's when he gets the look on his face.
Right.
But he didn't really, he didn't get to the end of the adventure, and it stuck with him. Yeah.
And also just now it's like he doesn't know what happened to his son, and it's like, okay, well, best case scenario, find Aslan, figure out what to do. Worst case scenario, we go to the end of the world and you get to cross over to the other side.
Yeah, and be with your father and wait for your son.
And your Mushka.
And your Mushka.
And so they don't know what's going to happen. And like, of course, like, yeah, Caspian would have helped if they had known that Eustace was there. He would have arranged everything, probably an army to go help with them. And like, this is what Aslan was probably talking about. And so
you will get help. And Eustace is kind of holding that against Jill. Even though she did try. She didn't give enough context. But neither did Eustace when they left to go to Narnia. Because that's how Aslan's plan works. Is
Yep. And they maybe if they stopped blaming each other about who did what and what's fault instead of just how do we make this work.
Yeah. Share the information, move forward as a team.
But they are children, so.
And yeah, Eustace is like, okay, well, if this is all up and up, why are you meeting at night in an old ruin far from the castle? And the owls are like, well, everyone else is fucking asleep. This is the time to meet. It's sensible to meet now.
Yeah, where are we supposed to meet?
Yeah, where would you want us to go meet in the courtyard in the middle of the day like a bunch of losers?
Yeah, they do things in broad blazing sunlight. Ugh, when everybody should be asleep.
I love it.
And
so like all of this mystery and adventure is literally just because owls are nocturnal.
It's honestly, it's very
kinda
cute.
And so I think that that's what he means by like she would have known to doubt him, but like they still got valuable information, and the owl is like, well, I'm gonna tell you the story.
Yeah.
So
And it's like, okay, well, yeah, tell us. Wait, hang on. Let's get comfortable.
Yeah, get comfortable. Sit down.
Click, clack. Your brickety brack, and tell us, Glimfeather, about the Lost Prince.
10 years ago, it appeared, when Brillian, the son of Caspian, was a very young knight. He rode with the queen, his mother, on a May morning in the north parts of Narnia. And new character, ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, Brillian, Caspian's son. I like the name. It's fine. It's fun. It is from a vernacular shortened form of the Latin personal name Aemilianus, which doesn't sound like Rillian at all, but I don't really know. It's derived from the word rival. Revilian. It also has a shared name ancestry with the name Emily from Aemilianus. Like it was shortened and feminized to Emily, but it does derive from the Latin word for rival, which is kind of fun. So Emily's like a little bit of a badass name, if you think about it.
Yeah, all right. Shout out to Emily's.
Shout out to Emily's. I do have another option for the name origin where I did the Latin ril and Ian. So rill is a groove in the soil, or brook or streamlet, and then Ian, Ian, as we know in Latin, is from, related to, or like Drinian, Thespian, Caspian, Mortician. So like from the stream, from the brook, related to, I don't know. It's maybe something, but I think that the rival is more of the real name. Like
Yeah.
he's destined to be the new king of Narnia. Like if his name means rival, it's kind of sick. Like he will rival anybody that threatens Narnia.
I just had a completely separate thought where I was like, wait, what if Harry Potter's name was short for Harold Potter?
Harold Potter. Harold Portal.
Harold Potter.
But-
So is this not our queen from Ramandu's Island? Is this not Ramandu's daughter?
That's what I right?
Because they keep saying the
queen. They just
or
say the queen.
the
They
queen,
do.
his mother.
They do
Mother
say
Queen.
later that the blood of the stars flowed through her veins. So she
has to be her.
It is
Yeah,
her. It is
okay.
her. But the queen and her son and others were having a wonderful day in the north woods of Narnia. And the queen was having such a nice day that she took a nap, and everyone else was like, "We'll let you sleep and we won't disturb you." So they were a little bit of a ways away. And then a big ass fucking bright green serpent, comes up from this fountain that they were at, and it bites her hand. And there's nothing that they can do. In 10 minutes, she's dead. During this 10 minutes, Aurelian had chased after the snake. It disappeared through some hedges. He couldn't find it. He's like, well, fuck, I need to go back to mom. So he goes back to his mom, and she's trying to tell him something, but she's either in so much pain or the poison is doing something to her, but she's not able to get it out before she passes away. And this is when I was like, wait a second. This is Liliando, and it is. So I'm like, does he know that she was a star? Was she trying to tell him that she's a star and that he has the blood of stars? Like, she was trying to tell him something. So just keep that in mind. There is a secret, or there is some sort of information that Rillian needs to know and does not know yet.
The galaxy lies on
'Cause-
Orion's.
Yeah, because he's a triple threat.
Yeah.
He's a Telmarine. He's a Narnian. He's a Telmarine / Narnian. He's a son of Adam and a star. Triple threat, bitch. For a month after his mom passed away, he went out hunting this beast. They call it a worm too. I'm like, is it a snake? Is it a worm? Is it like a fucking sandworm with like sharp teeth? Like, what is this creature? But he hunts it with no luck, and then one day something changed. People started noticing something in his eyes as a man who had seen visions. So like something is weird with Rillian, and Drinian is concerned. So Drinian is still alive, and we get a little cameo. He's concerned that Rillian will tire himself to death, or something will happen. And he's also concerned because for the last 7 days, the horse has come back not really looking like it had been run all day like previous. The horse has come back with energy, not tired as fuck. And he's like, what's up? What's happening here? And Rillian, he says, I've forgotten about the snake for the last 7 days because I've seen the most beautiful thing that was ever made. And Drinian's like, I'm gonna need to see this thing, so tomorrow we're gonna go out and see it, yeah? And Rillian agrees. So cool. He's cool about it. They ride out to the spot that the queen died, which Drinian thinks is weird.
And there they rested till it came to high noon, and at noon Drinian looked up and saw the most beautiful lady he had ever seen. And she stood at the north side of the fountain and said no words, but beckoned to the prince with her hands as if she bade him to come to her. And she was tall and great, shining and wrapped in a thin garment as green as poison. And the prince stared at her like a man out of his wits. But suddenly, the lady was gone.
Ooh, we know that C.S. Lewis has a type. Tall, hot,
evil.
evil ladies. Well, the star, she was tall and hot, not evil, but she was glowing.
That's true.
There's always some bright color. Jadis was white. She was ice white. The star, blue star. She's got hot green. Green is poison. Like, it's hot. It's hot. Tilda Swinton could play all three of these roles.
Oh yeah,
Imagine.
I think Toni Collette should honestly.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
there's nothing
Toni
Collette can't
would
handle.
do this so well. So well.
I was
like, if this is Jadis somehow back alive, I swear to God. Because Jadis in the movie, I don't remember if it was in the book this much, but in the movie, Jadis is there and she's got the green eyes, and because it's the green mist. So it's not in the book because there's no green mist in the book.
Maybe this is where they got the green mist from.
Yeah, this is giving green mist, green witch, Jadis. This is probably, they saw this and they imagined Tilda Swinton in green. And they're like, we need to somehow get Tilda Swinton in green in this movie.
They need Tilda to look on green.
Little green, Mr. Shoe.
Well, and the nice thing is, Drinian is very positive that shining green woman was evil. And
Yeah, he's like, I don't know where the fuck she just went, but that bitch is evil.
And if this is book Drinian, it's like, yeah, I believe you don't know where she's from. If it's movie Drinian, it's like, well, he would be old.
Yeah, he would be old.
And not in a disrespectful way. Just, I'm like, like he was older than Caspian.
Yeah, he was
Not
like
by
a
lot,
full grown.
but
He knew him as much of the seas as the old sailors. Like he knew shit. He was old, the old age of wisdom. I think that this is 10 years and 3 months before they're hearing this story. Drinian is like, I kind of want to tell the king. Like, I kind of want to tell Caspian about this hot evil lady that seems to be bewitching his son, but I don't want to snitch, and he doesn't want me to tell anybody. Too fucking bad, because the next day is the day that Rillian was not to return from his journey.
yeah, he rode out alone, and then the night he came not back. And from that hour, no trace of him was ever found in Narnia, nor any neighboring land, and neither his horse, nor his hat, nor his cloak, nor anything else was ever found. And then this part.
This breaks my heart. Oh my God.
The most noble thing, Drinian doesn't waste any time telling Caspian that it's his fault, and that he didn't say anything, and that his silence has destroyed his son, and that he's a traitor, and that he should kill him.
And Caspian almost does.
He rushes to him.
Yeah, axe raised. And then he throws it away, and he cries out, I have lost my queen and my son. Shall I lose my friend also?
Mm-hmm.
And he, not the axe, he fell upon the Lord Drinian's neck and embraced him, and both wept, and their friendship was not broken. And now, 10 years later, Drinian is still there for him. Lovely old best friends.
Mm-hmm. And then Jill just, here the story's done, just says, I bet the serpent and that woman were the same person.
No shit. The owls are like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
And-
we know that,
Yeah.
Jill.
And we know that Rillian is still alive because Aslan told us that Rillian is still alive. And that makes the owls more worried that it's not just some unlucky happenstance, but now that it's some plot against Narnia. And they are reminded of, long, long ago, at the very beginning, a white witch came out of the north and bound our land in snow and ice for 100 years. And we think this may be one of the same crew. I love that. At the very beginning, a white witch came out. Oh, and we were there 100 years later. We were basically at the beginning with the Pevensies.
I like that Eustace is like, all right, well, we got to go find the prince. Can you help us? Just, it's instead of this whole sort of energy that Eustace had, like, he knows that they've got to go north. He knows that they've got to reach the ruins of a giant city. And in this particular moment, there's a great hooing and noise of birds, and probably with the ruffling of feathers, a lot of just stinky airflow. But I don't know, maybe they're magical birds. And there's no poop.
No stink.
no stinky poop. And then they explain like they can't go with they can't go with the kids all their way. Like, you want to travel by day, we want to travel by night. Like, it's not gonna do. Like, we're not simpatico. But Glimfeather does say if they want to go that way into Ettonsmoor, we must take them to one of the Marshwiggles. They're the only people who can help them much. And Marshwiggles are a completely fictitious character that Slowis made up, which
I love the Marshwiggles.
is very cute sounding.
And I did some name origin for Ettonsmoor, because I was like, Moor, Moor, I know is like an English word. I've heard it in different places in England and Europe and shit. The moors of wherever, you know what I mean? And I looked up Ettins, and this is a specific Narnian word. It is a type of giant that lived in the second most northern land of the world of Narnia. And a moor, Moor, is a tract of open, uncultivated, rolling, infertile land. So literally, giant land. They're going to giant land. But
We're gone to giant land. We're gone to giant land.
But before they go to giant land, they need to go to marshland. And they need to go tonight to get this show on the road, show on the road. And Jill's like, fuck, I didn't get to go to sleep yet. Jill passes out from exhaustion, and they end the chapter there on the precipice of another level to this adventure. She's living Lady Gaga's life. Every night, no sleep, bus, club,
Owl.
another club, plane, owl, next place, no sleep, no fear.
Aslan Air.
And
Now we're at chapter 5.
Chapter 5. Paddlecam. Jill's woken up. It's grumpy, grumbly. She climbs on the back of an owl. She's like, I'm tired of digging Grandpa.
Well, that's too dumb.
And they start flying, and she's like, okay, I'm awake. There's fucking air. I could fall 1,000,000 feet to the ground.
She's already sick of adventures, and it's like, girl, this is day 2.
Yeah, this is
day 1.
Yeah, this is the evening of day 1. They start flying, and she can hear Eustace. He's chatting up a storm with his owl. She's like, he doesn't sound tired, thought Jill. She did not realize that he had been on great adventures in that world before, and that the Narnian air was bringing back to him a strength he had won. A strength he had won when he sailed the eastern seas with King Caspian. So literally, this is like logging back into your video game. Like, he got that level. He won those levels, and now he's still at that stats. He came in, it's been a couple years, he's still a little rusty, but like, he's still got the good shit. He's still got the high quality sword or whatever, you know. Well, he doesn't. That was Peter's sword, but
I mean, it's like when I played Crash Bandicoot for the first time since I was a child, it was literally like, I thought I played for a few minutes and asked my friends if they wanted to play, and it had been over an hour. Like, some things you just know what you're doing.
yeah.
And I know how to Crash Bandicoot.
They're flying, she's sleepy, they land at a house. It reminds me, it's written from her perspective, so it reminds me of like when you park in the driveway at your childhood home, and that's when you wake up, and like your parents don't really carry you to bed, but you also feel like you're still asleep when you're walking to bed, and you're just kind of like, and so like the owls are trying to get Puddlegum's attention, and she's kind of paying attention but not, and she feels bad because she wasn't able to say goodbye to the owls because she's so sleepy, and she just like crawls in and falls asleep as this gracious host is like, you're probably not going to really sleep at all. It's really cold and the ground is hard, and I'm sorry, but this is all we have. And like, as he's telling them this, she falls asleep.
Yeah, regardless of what this person says, she's tired.
So tired.
It's time to sleep.
And I hope she wakes up with some more Narnian air in her lungs and some more pep in her step.
And I do like it because when she wakes up, she says, "Where on earth are we?" Girl, you're not on Earth. You're in Narnia.
And she hates having slept in her clothes, which I agree.
Ugh, yeah.
Well, Eustace is like, I'm kind of glad it's kind of efficient. Oh my god.
Of course he thinks it's
Yeah,
efficient.
you would do this shit all the fucking time. But we know he would have been complaining left and right if this was his first rodeo. I'm like, oh, I didn't even get to change. But now he's
Mhm.
like, I kind of like it. Oh, shut the hell up, you.
Yeah, why don't you go be stinky on a boat?
They walk out of. Well, he goes, oh, in the wigwam of a. What are they called again?
Marshwiggle. I don't like that they call them wigwams. Like what? I think he's trying to make like a beaver sort of dam energy.
I think, but they need to be more humanoid for some
Yeah.
reason.
Why don't we give them a different name? Let's call
Yeah.
them.
Just call them huts.
Can we-
Just call them fucking homes. Call them whatever you want to call them. You don't need to call
Wiggle
them.
pods.
Yeah, wiggle buds. And they assess the landscape. We've got. If you look out your left to the south and west, you'll see trees. If you look to your other left, you'll see to the east we have the ocean. And to your behind of the north, we have some rocky, hilly areas. But it's flat marshland here. And if you see right to your front of you, your host Puddlegum is there fishing. And they approach him. Yes, he's fishing for eels. And they approach their host, and they see, as he turns, a long, thin face with rather sunken cheeks, a tightly shut mouth, a sharp nose, and no beard. He was wearing a high, pointed hat like a steeple, a witch hat, and with an enormously wide, flat brim. The hair, if it could be called hair, which hung over his large ears, was a greeny grey, and each lock was flat rather than round, so they looked like tiny reeds. His expression was solemn, his complexion muddy, and you could see at once that he took a very serious view of life.
So he looks like that guy from Hellboy.
He looks like old Greg. Well, he doesn't say, like, if he's got fishy eyes, but yeah, like, when they said that his hair was flat, I imagined, like, the old Greg seaweed hair.
Old Greg's hair is not flat.
He's got volume.
It's just damp. It's from the Baileys.
It's from the Bailiff. He is the most pessimistic, downtrodden, self-deprecating guy we have seen in Narnia yet. I thought Trumpkin was bad, early Trumpkin. This guy, he goes, "Good morning, guests." Though when I say good, I don't mean it. It won't probably turn to rain, or it might be snow, or fog, or thunder. I'm like, it is a nice day. And you're like, well, it could turn into a storm. It could turn into a tornado, and we could all die. I'm like, whoa, I just said hello. And he little froggy boy, he got webbed fingers and toes.
Mm-hmm.
He's wearing earth tones, except for his black witch's hat, which I hope we get an explanation for the hat later, because it doesn't make sense with his character design.
I mean, Tumnus wears a scarf, but no other things to keep himself warm.
Valid. Okay, valid. I take it back.
Well, I think it's nice because, you know, he, along with mentioning how the weather can turn shitty, he also is like, I know you didn't sleep well at all. And Jill's like, no, we slept great. And it's kind of nice because I feel like the best thing about this character is, although he is negative, like, very quickly he's like, oh, I see you're making the best of a bad job. That's right. You've been brought up well. You've learned to put a good face on things.
Yeah, I don't want to say he gasses them up, but, like, he does, as pessimistic as he makes them feel more optimistic because they're almost arguing against his points.
He's like pessimistically positive.
Yeah, he's like, everything sucks, but, like, it's fine. That's just the way the world works.
Like, everything sucks and, like, it's cool. You're trying to make the best of it.
I'm gonna maybe catch some eels, but I probably won't. So, like, if you could maybe go light a fire in case I catch them, even though the wood's probably wet, so it's probably gonna be really hard. But here's the tinderbox, but you're not from here, so you probably don't know how to use it. And Eustace does know how to use it from his last adventure, and the wood is very dry, and the thing goes smoother than they even expected.
I mean, okay, yeah, it's kind of annoying having a friend who only points at the bad things, but then it's like everything goes so well. So,
Right, it
like,
goes better than they expected, but I
Yeah.
think that if he had just asked them to do the fire, they might have had some struggles. Because I'm sure they did have some struggles, but they knew how to use the tools they had, so it wasn't as hard.
Yeah.
They're both able to bathe in the water, even though it's marsh river. It's, like, still kind of clean, and
Yeah. What's a Marnie?
Yeah.
Marnian.
Marnian Narsh.
Hi, it's me, Marnian Narsh. A Narnian Marsh.
And they finish right when Puddlegum comes back with the eels. And he caught quite a few. He skinned them and prepped them already. Ready to start cooking. And he starts smoking as well. He's got a tobacco pipe. But CS pops aside and is like, well, it's said that they mixed it with mud because it's a very thick tobacco. And the smoke is also thick. It's black smoke.
He can't smoke seaweed.
Seaweed.
Or
The smoke
mulch.
doesn't rise. It sinks to the ground like a mist and it makes Scrub cough. Yeah, like thick, gross.
Like you don't open the flue properly when you're lighting a fire, and then you're like, oh, it's
They talk of their pans.
of their pans.
That's what my note says. It
They
must
talk
be
of their
wrong.
pans. Mine.
Plans.
Yeah, mine says they talk about their plans.
They talk about their plans. And Puddlegum keeps saying, we're going to have to do this. Like, we'll go this way. And, like, he's being pessimistic about it. But they're like, you're coming with us? Like, we're going to have a friend? He's like,
yeah.
yeah.
Can you help us?
Well, Narnia's, like, going to shit. Like, the whole country could collapse any day now. Like, what are you talking about,
Yeah,
dude?
that's not America.
He makes it seem like Narnia's going out of business soon or something.
Yeah. Oh, just because like the king's got a nasty cough and Trumpkin's falling fast, and I mean, yeah, just and negative. I mean, yeah, he says yes, he'll go with them, but it's like, oh, but it's probably nothing's gonna happen. But Jill mentions that they've got to start by finding a ruined city of giants. Aslan said so, and Puddlegum says, "Got to start by finding it, have we? Not allowed to start by looking for it, I suppose."
I love, and at this moment, he became my favorite character.
Yeah.
And from this moment on, he is my favorite character of this book.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, because Eustace is like, doesn't anyone know where it is? And Puddlegum, like, I don't know about anyone with a capital A. Like, I mean, just he takes things very literally.
He goes, but most people start at the fountain where the lady was seen, and they head north from there. And Jill's like, well, no, we need to go to the city of giants. And he's like, okay, well, north. Look at those rocks. That's the beginning of Ettinsmoor. You need to cross the river. What do they call it? The Shribble. And they're like, well,
No bridge.
No bridge. They're like, well, can we ford it?
If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
He's filled with good information, but he delivers it in a way that will do nothing but dissuade you from doing the task. Again, it's a test. It's like a test for them to persevere. And Jill's like, well, maybe we'll meet some people that will help us. And Puddlegum's like, well, you'll meet people. I don't know if they'll help you, but you'll definitely meet people. There are people that live there. They're giants. And they're like, well, fuck. Fuck, we're gonna go meet giants.
Well, we get another queer point because Jill says there are so many queer creatures in this country. I mean, are they animals or birds or dwarfs or what?
Oh, what? He's like, they're fucking huge giants. They
Oh
can
yeah,
squish you.
the marsh wiggle gave out a long whistle. You want to give us a long?
They're giants.
Jill winced.
And they're like, well, they're not dangerous if you don't cross the Shribble. They don't come over here. They're not attacking us. But if you go into their land, like, he goes, but if we're not seen and we stay far enough away,
Yeah.
we could probably make it pretty far.
Yeah, stay on our own side of the Shribble.
And Scrub's like, oh my god, will you just stop being so pessimistic? He, like, fully blows up at him. And Puddlegum's like, good on ya.
That's the spirit.
Yeah. He goes, the other Wiggles think that I'm too high-spirited. And they say to him, you've got to learn life isn't all fricasseed frogs and eel pie. You'll want something to sober you down a bit. So he's going on this quest because he thinks it will fail. And he needs to think that life sucks. And he thinks that life doesn't suck enough. Even though, as we see, he thinks life sucks plenty.
Quite a bit.
So I'm glad we don't meet any other marshwiggles who would actually be downers.
Oh my god. Well, yeah. Eustace says, if it's so hopeless, I think you better stay behind and we can handle it on our own. And Jill gives another shut up and adds, don't be an ass, scrub.
Because she doesn't want to go alone. She's like, oh, anybody to help will be help.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, I'm going on the quest. I need this.
Yeah.
And he's
Don't
like,
you
well,
lose heart.
dinner's ready. So I hope it's not awful. And of course, it's delicious eel stew. They have full, big first servings. They have big second helpings. And they're like, no, this shit is good.
Yeah, he's
"I
like, oh,
love
you
that
didn't
he's
like
an
it at
amazing
all.
chef."
He's like a waiter who's like, oh, I see you didn't like the food, but he genuinely means it.
Yeah.
And they're
it's
like,
all gone.
no, dude, it was delich.
And then they have some tea. And they start preparing for their morning journey. They're all carrying different things.
Winds, bowstrings.
Yes. Scrub and Puddle both get a sword and a bow, while Jill just has her knife, though. And as soon as her and Scrub start fighting, Puddlegum's like, I knew it was only a matter of time before we start fighting. It's always what happens. And they'll immediately shut up because they can't prove him right. Which is going to be great because they're going to have to constantly prove him wrong by doing good things and being good people.
Spent the whole day there? No, they just slept for...
They did. They spent the whole day there in Marshland because they are prepping for their getting food ready. They're just mentally getting a plan and doing all the things. And they slept in a good while, I think, too, because they stayed up so late.
Yeah, and this one also has a similar pacing of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, whereas like other books, like it's been weeks at this point, or just taking a long time. I feel like
this is that was day 2.
Yeah, and then
they're going to bed to wake up on day 3 in chapter 6. And Puddlegum's like, sorry if you can't sleep well, and they're excited about going to sleep on their straw beds, but Puddlegum falls asleep first and snores quite loudly, and they do have trouble falling asleep. But Jill is able to fall asleep, although she dreams of road drills and waterfalls and loud shit. She is able to get some sleep. And we wake up in chapter 6, The Wild Wastelands of the North.
So it's about 9 o'clock in the morning, and so we've got our crew quickly crackling their way up the Shribble by the shoals and the stepping stones in the shallow, noisy stream.
Yeah, and Jill basically, she doesn't even get her knees wet. It's shallow as fuck. It's nothing to cross. And yeah, of course, Puddlegum exaggerated the effort. Now he says they're going to have to take the steeper, harder trail to the right because there's this gorge through the mountains to the left, but the giants kind of use that as a street. So that he's like, sorry, but we've got to go up the hill. So they trudge on, hearing occasional peewits and hawks, which are both birds. A peewit or pewit or lapwing is like the other, pewit, I don't know. But they call them lapwings in other stuff. And when I looked up the symbolism of this type of bird, the pewit or lapwing, is adaptability and resourcefulness. It teaches us to be flexible in our approach to life and embrace change with grace and ease. The lapwing encourages us to trust our instincts and to have faith in our abilities to overcome obstacles. And a hawk is a symbol of courage, strength, and clear vision. So, like, look forward. You can do this. You're on the right path. Don't forget the signs is kind of what these birds are saying.
Was Peter Samuel the hawk?
Peter, at the very beginning, he thought he was going to see the hawk.
Or I just was thinking, like, them seeing a hawk is, like,
yeah,
not a connection necessarily, but I don't know.
But nice. Yeah, a hawk is the one animal that has been associated with Peter the most, I think. And they take a break at the stream. Jill has some water, and she's like, I think I like adventures. Puddlegum's like, you haven't been on an adventure yet. Like, we're getting to the adventure. We're walking to it right now, but we're not there.
Yeah, well, especially because, like, it's, the ground's all springy. I mean, honestly, like, it sounds nice, but,
it's a nice walk.
Yeah.
Soft ground, but, like, they're not actually climbing up any rock faces. They're not doing anything.
It does mention, like, the loneliness increasing, which I like how they use the birds to kind of represent that.
Right. You hear some birds, and then the birds kind of start to fade out as the ground gets more treacherous.
And the rocks are all like little towers and kind of like in funny shapes.
Yeah,
They're not
Jill's
very
like, look
flat.
at that. That it almost looks like humans. Like it almost could look like a human shape, and then one of them moves. They are alive. They are giants. All of these stones, about 40 to 50 of them. And Puddlegum sees them too, and he's like, let's just keep walking. They haven't seen us. Don't run. Don't draw attention. We're just gonna keep on going. I kind of
How are they
picture
gonna know?
I kind of picture it like they're walking and there's a little bit of a ridge to their left, and you can like kind of see the gorge down, and they're on the other side of the gorge, but they're so big that you can see the tops of their bodies.
Yeah. In my head, it's just like Bugs Bunny. You
Yeah.
know, like just creeping, just like ding, 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 ding. Just straight forward ahead. Just, I don't see you. You don't see me. And like the giants, they don't look angry or necessarily kind, but they also don't really seem interested. It just,
No, they don't see them. They don't
Yeah.
care. They're just living their life. But then they do start throwing boulders at them.
oh yeah, there's a,
A
What's this?
huge crash of rocks and shit.
yeah, he says whiz, and I'm thinking like, yeah, it's a heavy object, so it'd be like
Yeah, more of a whoosh than a whiz.
yeah, there it is. With a crash of a big boulder 20 paces ahead of them, and then thud, another fell 20 feet behind, and it's like, are they shooting at us?
Yeah, just like, are they throwing those things at us? And Puddlegum says, no, they do this all the time. They're playing their little game, trying to hit this cairn. But they have bad aim, so they might actually hit us. If they were aiming for us, we would probably have better luck. So they're stormtroopers.
Yeah, and it's a horrible time because there's no end to the line of giants, and they're just like hurling the stones, and they're pretty close, and like it's just
Seeming very dangerous all of a sudden. This
Yeah.
seems adventure.
but also it's like they're still not very scary.
No, and then all of a sudden they start to fight with each other, and they're hitting, and they're screaming, and they stop throwing rocks, and they end up hurting themselves too much. And they
cheated. No, it's my turn. No, you're not gonna do
And yeah, they're swinging on each other, hitting each other with clubs and stuff, but they're giants, so they can handle it. And then they all get too hurt, and they start crying and tending to their wounds like a bunch of big babies.
And howling and blubbering.
And so they sit down, and you can't see any of the giants anymore. But Jill says that you can hear them miles later. You can still hear them howling in the gorge. Then there was a word here. I didn't write it down.
Yeah, Bivouacked.
Yeah. Bivouacked.
Don't talk back.
Or they had to bivouac. I don't remember. But it means that they had to camp with no shelter. So they just kind of had to lay out on the grass.
Al
And
fresco.
they learned to sleep back to back for warmth. Puddlegum's like, we're all going to sleep back to back. And initially I imagined them sitting up back to back, but I think they just mean laying down back to back so that the blanket can cover them all. And like,
Oh, you can't, but there's 3 bags.
yeah, that's what I'm like. I don't think Puddlegum is sleeping with them. I think that Puddlegum is sleeping by himself.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And they brought some bacon with them, but they're saving the bacon because they're able to hunt more fowl, non-talking, of course. So they're hunting birds with the bow and arrow, eating those.
What do you think they carried the bacon in?
It said that they carried it wrapped in the blanket at the beginning.
You think it's
It's
wrapped in a
not-
blanket or it's inside
it's in
of
their pockets.
a leaf wrap?
A leaf wrap.
Leaf wrap, wrapping up a bunch of meat. Put it in your bucket, take it with you. It's gonna be all so sweet, gonna eat it later. Leaf wrap, hopefully it doesn't kill you. Leaf wraps for meat.
And they are seen by one giant so far, but he only laughed at them and continued on. He's just
Yeah,
like,
they're
oh, silly little creatures.
It's probably cute.
Mm.
Like you just see some kids walking along, you're like, oh, there they go.
For 10 days, they go. This is an adventure, Puddlegum. This is an adventure.
Well, now it's an adventure.
They go for 10 days. This terrain or after 10 days, the terrain changes from kind of soft sloping along the mountains to a more rocky, sharp mountains. They're seeing some snow on peaks in the distance. They're going on this fucking treacherous terrain.
Yeah, ravines.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
And they find a bridge. A huge old bridge. And this is the first thing that they've seen in quite a while. And Puddlegum's like, it's fake. It's a sorcerer's mirage. I bet when we step on it, it's going to turn into dust and we're going to fall forever and ever and ever.
Just love the...
Dude,
It must be a giant's bridge.
I love magic.
For fucking real. Yeah, and Puddlegum is like, ain't no such thing as magic.
Yeah, he's like, giants can't build that. Have you seen them? They're not that civilized. And Jill's like, well, we're going to a giant city, so maybe the bridge was built by the same giants that built the giant city, and that means that we're on the right path because we're getting close to it. And Eustace is like, I like what you're thinking.
A compliment?
Yeah, from Eustace.
Honestly, we love to hear it. It's great. And instead of like more debate, they go.
They just agree and they go towards the bridge and they get to it, and it seems real.
It can hold up giants. It can hold you up.
And it says that it's like a high arch. So from far away, I think that it looks normal. But as we see, like later, they keep talking about the crest of this bridge. So even them climbing up this bridge and going across it is kind of like a hike because it's built for giants. They see these ornate carvings on the sides of the bridge, the big legs, and it's got giant faces and minotaurs as well as squids, centipedes, and dreadful gods. I don't know who the dreadful gods are. The centipedes, I don't think that it's a centipede face. I think that it's the face of that fucking sea serpent at the edge of the world.
And why are squids got to be dragged into it?
Yeah, what did squids do?
Except be smarter than us.
That's so weird.
It also says that the stones were as big as those at Stonehenge.
Yeah, huge, big stones. Like, and some of them are kind of like popped through, like Emperor's New Groove on the bridge, except huge, so they're able to just kind of walk around the holes.
Puddleglum doesn't trust it.
Puddle gum.
Puddlegum. No, my Puddleglum.
Is it? It is Puddleglum. I've said Puddlegum the whole time.
Yeah. I didn't notice. If that makes you feel better.
That's fine.
Yeah, Puddleglum.
I don't understand. I can't unsee that L now.
Or what?
But I read 8 chapters of this, and I didn't once read it as Puddleglum. That's wild.
I still want to say Telemarines. I know it's Telemarines, but like
Telemarinky dinky dink, telemarinky doo.
Jadis, when she was banished, or when she first came to Narnia, she was banished in the north for 900 years with the giants, and like we're saying that like it's possible that one of the reasons the giants were sophisticated is because of her. And it's possible that during that time she ruled the giants, she compelled them to build the ancient city, which is now lying in ruins. So like, she's kind of
I like that.
She's the reason the pyramids are built in this circumstance.
She was able to give them the structure to have the civilization to build, because it's more ornate than I would have expected, and that would make sense. She was like, no, you need to make it fancy.
Well, no, she's not there, then
it would fall to ruins.
Yeah, exactly, because they're just...
She's like, oh, bye, I'm going to go live in Narnia now. I'm going to go take over Narnia. You suck. And they're like, wait. Well, I don't know how to... Wait. Oh, they're like pigeons. Oh, my God. They're like pigeons. She domesticated them, and then she just tossed them aside when she was done, and they didn't know how to handle it.
Are we not pigeons?
We're pigeons, and we pigeoned pigeons.
They climb up to the crown arch with the long in it, whatever.
They get to the crest,
Yeah.
the top of this bridge arch.
Yeah. They look down, and there's the river foaming thousands of feet below, and there's another eagle.
Right, they see an eagle, which is kind of cool because they're like so far up again, kind of like the cliff, and they're looking down through this giant hole at the river. And they're so high up that the bird is flying below them. Like the eagle's on this warm thermal from the, from the channel, I'm sure, the gorge.
Yeah, you see.
And I didn't look up eagles because we know they mean bravery and courage and all the regular
I
protection.
think in this circumstance, it's just mostly to show, like,
Yeah.
as above, so
below.
below. And so they reach the top, and
They see something.
they see something riding towards them on the ancient road, and it's two people of normal grown-up human size.
Humans?
Humans.
What are humans doing in the wild giant wildlands?
Anyone you meet in a place like this is as likely as to not to be an enemy, but we mustn't let them think we're afraid.
Yeah.
No wonder people stop reading these books. What the fuck?
Look, you can't trust shit, but
No.
also we have to come, what's the word I want? United.
Yeah.
United front, look strong.
United we stand.
And they approach the two.
And one of them is a knight.
In complete armor, with his visor down. His armor and his horse were black, the Black Knight. There was no device on his shield, and no banneret on his spear. So, he has no house, he has no attachment, no affiliation. The other was a lady on a white horse, a horse so lovely that you wanted to kiss its nose and give it a lump of sugar at once. But the lady, who rode side saddle and wore a long, fluttering dress of dazzling green, was lovelier still. Well, they found the pretty lady, I guess.
Hey, grand lady. So she says, "Good day, travelers." And it just, it seems they're being nice. They are.
Yeah,
being...
she's being nice. Jill is being nice. Oh, great travelers! What brings you to the great giant wastelands? And Jill's about to spill all the beans about the quest when Puddlegum kind of steps in and diplomatically sidesteps. He's like, we don't know you, and you don't know us, so I hope you don't take offense to this, but we're just gonna keep our business to ourselves.
And she laughs.
But Jill has already told them that they're going to the giant city.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I'll tell you all I know about the giant city. I have nothing to hide. I hate this bitch already.
Well, it says that she laughs with the richest, most musical laugh you can imagine, which doesn't sound threatening, but...
But does he mean rich? I know he means rich, like flavor, like warm laugh, but I read it and I was like, she has that rich, snobby bitch laugh.
Well, and she's saying the opposite of what he's saying, and that, that the giants are not.
Well, yeah, there is a specific... The city, the giant city that they're looking for is named Ruinous, which is sick. It's something out of Mad Max. But she doesn't know where it is. She's like, they wouldn't tell me more than they would tell you. But there is a city at the end of this road, Harfang, and that is full of gentle giants. Gentle giants dwell there, so you should go here instead. Like, you'll get to your place, but go here. They'll be able to help you. And, winter's upon us. Maybe take the whole winter to recoup. At the very least, get there. They'll help you. And Jill's like, well, we're strangers. Like, why would they help us? And she says, only tell them that she of the green kirtle salutes them by you and has sent them 2 fair southern children for the autumn feast. For the autumn feast? For? They're gonna eat these kids, ain't they?
Yeah, wait.
That's like the vampires when they're like, oh, I would love to have you over for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, they don't say
love
over.
To have you
for dinner. And she's like, but you better get there, early in the day. Or when you get there, be sure to get there early in the day. Because the city shuts its gates a couple hours after noon, and they don't open them till the next morning. Which she's saying it and trying for it to come across safe and wonderful. They lock it down. Like, you'll be safe, but you have to get there before. But also, like, you're going to be locked in a giant city with gates that only giants are going to be able to open, and you're the size of a flea. I'm starting to join Puddleglum on this pessimistic, everything falls to shit side of life. Because he thinks she's up to no good.
Yeah. And then, yeah, the children are just, I think at this point, everybody's been cool. And
Yeah, everybody's been cool. She's cool, and she's hot. They have no reason not to trust her.
Also how they refer to him as the Silent Night.
Yeah, the silent night,
Creepy night.
dressed in black, horses black.
What's your deal, you silent fuck? Anyway.
And she bids them adieu. She's like, go here. I have places to go. Goodbye.
Au revoir.
And Puddleglum's like, I wish I knew where the fuck she was going and where she was coming from. I don't trust her. And they're like, well,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask her, but I felt weird asking because we didn't tell them anything about ourselves, and that's all your fault. And like, he's just suspicious, as he should be. You're in the giant wastelands, and there's human people. Like, they shouldn't be there. And that night was creepy. He's like, well, why didn't he talk or move or open his visor? Like, what's inside there? And Eustace goes, well, it's human shaped, so probably a human. Puddleglum's like, or a skeleton, or maybe nothing at all, or maybe something invisible. I'm like, nothing at all is scarier than invisible.
I mean, yeah, just a suit on a horse riding around. Yeah.
And they say, he's always expecting the worst, and he's always wrong. But I don't think he is this time, Eustace. I don't think he is this time.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you should expect the unexpected. And this is like the first serious disagreement because Puddleglum doesn't want to go to Harfang at all because we don't know what's going to happen.
No,
And-
we need to go north, find the ruined city, follow the quest. We're on a quest.
But the children, however, I mean, they've been in Narnia for like a couple weeks at this point, but they're still spoiled and they want to go be in their warm beds and just, you know, not have to be outside sleeping on the rocks and shit, which
Yeah.
I get it.
And he's like, fine, we can go to Harfang.
2 against 1.
As long as you promise not to tell anybody there what our quest is really about, where we're going, who we're looking for. And they agree. They say, sure, fine. Then let's get on the road. We're going to Harfang. And the terrain takes a turn for the worse after they're running with the lady of the green kirtle. And so did the kid's psyche. Because all they could think about was those warm beds and the lack of them currently. Jill forgot to repeat the fucking signs because she was so set on these warm beds, warm rooms, food, water, sleep. And I'm like, if you're not going to think about the point of the quest that you're on, maybe you shouldn't be on it in the first place. They get through the mountains. There's some trees on either side of them, and they can see the castle in the distance. Harfang! Cried Scrub and Chill in glad, excited voices, and Harfang, repeated Puddleglum in a dull, gloomy voice. But he added, hello, wild geese! He's like, oh, hello, wait a second. Oh, geese are revered in many cultures worldwide, symbolizing qualities such as communication, teamwork, and cooperation. So I think Aslan is like, hey, you're supposed to be working together, the three of you. Hello, wild geese.
Well, it does say that, you know, the night was bitter cold, their fire went out, and their blankets were stiff with frost in the morning.
Yes.
So, like, I understand how they wake up and they're like, no, we just want to take a hot bath. We're tired of being cold.
Yeah,
I
at
get
this
it.
point, yes, it's very get inside, please, please. And that is the beginning of Chapter 7, The Hail of the Strange Trenches. And it's an awful day.
Beast of a day.
Beast. It's fucking cold, windy.
Snow.
Yeah, they start at 10 a.m. It started to snow on their journey. 30 minutes later, they're basically in a blizzard. And we are told that this changes the context. We're talking about a lot of context in this book because it's important, I guess. But this storm changes the context of what they're about to see, or rather not see, and so we only see what they see. They pass by what might be square-ish rocks on either side of them. They end up climbing over a couple 4-foot ledges that are spaced at irregular intervals, and they're just like climbing up this weird flat landscape, plateau-y kind of thing, and they get to this plateau, and then there's more. They call it like a tableland.
Yeah, like the snow is not helping because it keeps just like billowing up and hurling in their
Right.
faces
So
because of
it's-
how flat everything is.
Yeah, everything's flat, so all the sharp edges are kind of there, but they're kind of being covered by snow, and they're probably catching a lot of snow in the 90-degree corners, and
They're just getting wet.
yeah, and
Ugh,
you can't
sounds
really see that far in
horrible.
front of you anyway because of the snow, so it's like, what the fuck? And then Jill slips and she falls down into a crevice, and it's like a quick, whoa, is she dead? What? Wait, what? And Puddleglum's like,
Both legs broken.
she's fine, no legs broken.
0 legs
And
broken.
they find that it's like a path that's running due north, and it's like, and it's out of the wind. And they go down, and she's like, "Oh, there's a corner, but it doesn't really look like it goes anywhere." And Eustace comes down. And he's like, "Well, I'll see for myself," because he can kind of tell she's nervous. She doesn't want to go down a weird dark corridor in this scary cold hill.
She chose down.
And it turns out that it doesn't go anywhere, unfortunately. So they climb back out and back up into the fucking bone cold, chilly ice land.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it. And then Puddleglum asks Jill what the signs were. Which I think he just wants a reminder. He's just like, I just want a reminder of what the things are, what we're looking out for. You know, Jill gets mad and she snaps at him. She's like, "Meh, meh, meh, I just want to get to my hot bath." And we're told it's because she had already kind of forgotten the order of them herself. And so she's mad at herself and scared and angry and cold.
Tired. Yeah.
And she snaps at him.
Yeah, she doesn't mean it, but
No. And he wants to stop and take a break and double check the plan and assess where they are, because they're at like a nice plateau-y like break in the weird rocks. And she sees some windows. And she's like, "Nope, I see windows. We're going. We don't know what time it is. They could be closing the gate any second. We need to go." And so they don't get to have that like team huddle before they go into Harfang that they definitely should have gotten.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably exactly what the Lady of the Green Kirtle wanted. She wanted them to think about this and panic and have a focus, and she knew it was going to be rough going. So to give them the promise of something warm, if they had not known that that was an option, they would have just gone. And they would have thought about the signs, and they would have done the thing. But now they're scrambling. They're scrambling up these steps, and they're like, "We gotta get there." It's like a fucking panic in the blizzard. It's stressful. They get to the base of the castle, which is described as more of a house than a castle, because the
Yeah.
giants
On
aren't
a
very
high crag.
yeah, they're not very scared of a siege. It's on a flat surface. There's windows quite low. But at this point, like, Jill's exhausted. I'm thinking adrenaline rush from all of this, from falling down that hole, from seeing the castle, from all this stuff. She's tired. So Puddle and Scrub have to kind of help her the last 100 yards, and then now they're at the gate. The huge, scary, giant gate.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, I'm scared now."
And this is where Puddleglum.
I messed you up now.
Thanks. This is where Puddleglum really steps up and shows a lot of courage in protecting our kiddos. And
Yeah.
just,
He's like, "There's
don't be frightened.
no reason for us to show fear. We've already done the stupidest thing by coming here at all, so we may as well just fucking own it." And he's like, "Hello, porter.
Yes,
Guests
you see-
have arrived.
Yoo-hoo!
We can use some assistance." And then one actually comes, like a giant, described taller than an apple tree, but not as tall as a telephone pole, comes out, and they're still shook. They're like, "Oh!" But Jill steps up, she mentions what the Lady of Green Kirtle told them to say, and the giant warmly lets them in. He's like, oh, beautiful blue skin beings. I've never seen you with blue skin. And they're like, we're just really cold, and we would really like to come in. He says, come in, little shrimps.
Yeah. He also says, like, once they tell him, he says, oh, that's quite a different story. It's legit, like, the Wizard of Oz, like, a horse of a different color.
Quite a different
Come
story.
come in, little shrimps.
And they walk in, and there's a huge fire. They say it's like 4 trees being burned at once. I've been to a double Christmas tree bonfire before, and that shit was warm. And this is inside. Yeah. So, like, the warmth must just be like, ooh, radiating at them.
It seems like it'd be too much.
They sit quite a ways back.
Yeah. They floop on the floor.
Yeah, just absorbing the warmth. The giant, he's like, oh, I have this you might want, Mr. Puddleglum, Mr. Frog Boy. And he's like, I'm not a frog. He pulls out a big black bottle, not unlike the alcohol bottle that Puddleglum owns. And he fills a salt, what is it called? A salt something?
Salt cellar.
Salt cellar, which is like a little salt cup.
Like a salt dish.
Yeah. And this one that they have is quite small, I guess, but also not that small, because Puddleglum, he's like, well, I have to taste it in case it's poisoned. And then he drinks one, and it's probably really good. He's like, well, I have to have another sip because, you know, sometimes a poison would sink to the bottom. And so he drinks more, and then drinks some more, and he drinks the whole thing. She's like, well, you never know. You sometimes it compounds, and so you have to drink it all. I'll let you know in 10 minutes whether or not the alcohol kills me.
I mean, good call not giving children alcohol, but
You just wanted to get drunk, and
Right.
the giant is impressed. He's like, nice, you can put him down.
Froggy man.
Drink him down, wow. And then he's drunk as fuck.
Yeah, see him put it away.
He starts like stumbling and
There's a frog.
mumbling.
Is
Yeah, he's like, I'm
Mercy
wiggle.
wiggle.
What does he, I have it. What does he say?
I'm a spectre wiggle.
Yeah, respectable.
Respect
I'm a
wiggle.
respectable.
No frog. It's
And
Puddleglum.
right as soon as the alcohol hits him, somebody comes in and they're like, you're wanted in the throne room. And it looks like our previously diplomatic friend will be no more help. They walk in and see more giants than they could count in this courtroom. Or not courtroom, throne room. And on 2 thrones at the far end sat 2 huge shapes that appeared to be the king and queen.
They went in to approach them, and very awkwardly, but then a young giant girl comes out, the young giant girl carefully lays Puddleglum on the floor, where he collapsed into kind of like a sitting sort of slumpy position. And that's the end of chapter 7.
It's giving Dick Van Dyke
Yes.
limp puppet in not Chim Chimney, in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
What do you see?
You people gazing at me.
And that's the end of chapter 7, which brings us to
Chapter 8. The House of Harfang.
Eustace is like, go talk to the giants.
Oh wait,
and,
he's like, go on, Paul, do your stuff.
and she gets dry mouth.
Just
Because, like, she's in a room full of fucking giants. So Eustace has to address him. And he gives the feast line. But Jill doesn't like the look on their faces. Like, I think that it kind of hits her a little differently. Hearing somebody else give the Lady of Green Kirtle has sent us here for the autumn feast. Because the king, like, licks his lips. And it says, oh, well, you know, it could have been anything, but Jill didn't like the feeling of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the queen goes, what good children.
yes, indeed, quite excellent children. Welcome to our court. Give me your hand.
And the king shakes, like, reaches out his hand to shake their hand / arm / like, whole
Yeah.
body.
He points over to Puddleglum and he's like, what's that? And then we get a respect.
And the queen's like, oh my god, it's alive. I thought
What
it
the
moves.
fuck is that?
And Jill just starts to cry. And C.S. Lewis is like, I hope you don't hold it against her forever. He really does not allow people to cry without just because you would hold it against her does not mean I will hold it against a 10-year-old girl crying.
I hope you won't lose all interest in Jill for the rest of the book if I tell
Jesus
you that at
Christ.
this moment she began to cry.
Why would I do that? She is surrounded by giants. She's in a world unknown to her, like way out of her depths. She is still probably fucking hearing Eustace's scream from when he fell off that cliff yesterday. Well, I guess at this point it's like 2 weeks later. But like, so much has happened to this young girl, and nobody has stood by her side and said, "Hey, are you okay?"
Yeah. Also, just, that feeling of when you've been outside and you're so cold and you come inside, like, you're not warm right away. It takes a while to thaw off.
And she's
like,
defrosting.
yeah, and
that shit hurts.
She's overwhelmed, and lest we forget, they had to carry her in there. Like, she was about to, like, fucking give up for good. So, no, I have not lost interest in Jill, but I have lost interest in Sluis chiming in his little quips. Like, you wrote these characters.
Let them be.
Let them. Just let.
Yes.
Let.
And as soon as she starts crying, the queen freaks out.
Give them food and wine and baths. Comfort the little girl. Give her lollipops. Give her dolls. Give her physics. Give her all you can think of. Possets and comfits and cowerways and lullabies and toys. Don't cry, little girl, or you won't be good for anything when the feast comes.
It doesn't taste as good when it's crying.
And they lead them to some rooms. Jill gets her own room, because girls and boys. And it's the size of a church, it says. Which, churches vary greatly in size. So, I'm imagining it like a modest kind of church. Maybe 1,000 square feet. But just one big room. And there's a big fireplace, and she's being cared for by the queen's old nurse, who is very small for a giant, apparently. She's so small and also bent over with age that she could fit in a normal size room without hitting her head. So she's like maybe 10 feet tall. She's like Hagrid size.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's cute. And yeah, she says things like, "Ooh la la, up's a daisy, there's a duck.
There's a duck.
Now we'll be all right, my puppet." And she fills a giant foot bath with hot water. And I'm just like, so a giant-sized foot bath would be like a very big tub. Yeah, like a small pool.
Mm-hmm. I hope she didn't fill it to the top. But Jill is able to take a nice bath, and she's like, the towels were great. They were a little itchy, but you don't actually have to scrub your body. She just rolled around on them. Because it was like as big as a football field.
That sounds so nice.
She was given human-sized clothes, and she's like, well, I mean, the Lady of the Green Kirtle comes, so I guess they're used to having human-sized guests. They were a little big for her, but there's also a human-sized table and chairs, place setting, utensils and stuff. She gets fed.
Finally.
Yeah, right. They've got cockaliki soup, and hot roast turkey, and steamed pudding, and roast chestnuts, and as much fruit as you could eat. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. And the only annoying thing is the nurse keeps bringing toys for Jill that are way too big. Like,
Right.
wooden horse on wheels the size of an elephant, a drum that looked like a young gasometer, and a woolly lamb.
And she's like, I'm sorry, but I don't want these things. The nurse is like, oh, you will after your nap. I know.
Precious poppet.
She's not a baby giant.
Right.
She's not gonna. Okay.
And she asks the nurse if it's still snowing, but I guess the snow very quickly turned to rain.
Yeah, where do they live in the Pacific Northwest? And she's like, it'll be clear tomorrow and you'll be able to go outside and play.
And it did. It rained all night,
Yeah.
which, I guess Jill never heard it, and she slept super deep past supper and then past midnight. So I guess, this is just, she fell asleep around, mid-afternoon and just slept all through the night.
I think later it says she slept 15 hours. So, a long time. And deep, deep in the night, she dreamed a dream.
She dreamed a dream of Aslan's words.
Aslan's words.
And that he burned them on the moon.
At
that hour, there came to Jill a dream. It seemed to her that she awoke in the same room and saw the fire, sunk low and red, and in the firelight the great wooden horse. And the horse came of its own will, rolling on its wheels across the carpet, and stood at her head. And now it was no longer a horse, but a lion as big as the horse. And then it was not just a toy lion, but a real lion, the real lion, just as she had seen him on the mountain beyond the world's end. And a smell of all sweet-smelling things there all filled the room. But there was some trouble in Jill's mind, though she could not think what it was, and the tears streamed down her face and wet the pillow. The lion told her to repeat the signs, and she found she had forgotten them all. At that, a great horror came over her, and Aslan took her up in his jaws. She could feel his lips and his breath, but not his teeth, and carried her to the window and made her look out. The moon shone bright, and written in great letters across the world or the sky, she did not know which, were the words, "Under me." After that, the dream faded away, and when she woke very late the next morning, she did not remember that she had dreamed at all. Weird-ass dream.
Very weird
It's one
dream.
of those weird, like, it probably actually happened, but didn't happen. Maybe it happened in your head, but it was real, and Aslan definitely was there kind of dreams. But she can't really think about it because she doesn't really remember it happening yet. And the next morning, she is up before the nurse wakes her up. And the nurse comes in with Eustace and Puddleglum. They're still alive, thank God. And they are like, "You've got a window?" And they climb up to the window, and they see what Jill saw in her dream. They see the ruins of the giant city. The cliff that they had seen last night was the side of a gigantic building. All of those random ledges at irregular intervals were rubble. They had missed the second sign as well. And then I was like, or maybe not. Maybe Aslan put it there last night and it wasn't a dream. And then Jill remembers and she tells them all about that queer Aslan dream she had. And Eustace then tells her and me that it was definitely there before, because the crack that Jill had fallen into must have been the E in Under Me, because it ran due north and took some right turns, but it didn't go anywhere. And so he knows that Aslan would never make a mistake like that and, like, put the Under Me there after, Jill's just trying to kind of not feel like she missed another sign. But now that they see the Under Me, they've missed 3 out of 4 of their signs.
The nice thing about this is instead of blaming each other as they've done in the past, this time everyone's trying to take accountability. And also, Eustace is not letting Puddleglum take accountability for this because he was the only one who was like, no, let's not do this. So him trying to take accountability, he's like, I could have stopped you two. And it's just like, no, you couldn't have.
He tried even.
Yeah. It's just, this is exactly what she wanted.
Yeah, Green Kirtle lady. And he's like, well, maybe if we had been walking through with the quest in mind, we would have found a door or some help, maybe even Aslan himself, which is totally valid. I think that Aslan might have done his little magic, pebble in a shoe. He slipped Jill into the crack so that maybe they would figure out that it's an E because it was too harsh. You know what I mean? Like he said, the signs will not look the same. And they've now missed 3.
I mean, Puddleglum says that we need to look for the prince under the city. Well, because Aslan didn't give them instructions.
Right, they're supposed to follow the words which say "Under Me," and they're like, what is that supposed to mean? And like you said, Puddleglum is like, well, Puddleglum thinks it's obvious. He's like, we need to go under the city and find the prince under me.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, we have to sneak out and get back out there then. But we have to do it in the middle of the day because they close up at night, so that blows. But they have an all right plan. And their plan is to pretend that they love being here and they're so excited for the feast that the giants will let their guard down enough for them to escape. And yeah, like It's a pretty solid plan, especially because we know that the giant's intelligence isn't as high as some other beings in the universe.
A trick.
A trick. I love this quote. This is when Puddleglum, even though I didn't know his name, solidified as my favorite character. Because he says, gay. That's what we've got to be. Gay. As if we hadn't a care in the world. Frolicsome. You two youngsters haven't always got very high spirits, I've noticed. You must watch me and do as I do. I'll be gay. Like this. Like this. Yes, queer icon Puddleglum.
I just love frolicsome.
Frolicsome. Be gay.
I mean,
like this.
They think he's a funny fellow already.
Yeah, he's like, I only acted drunk last night so they would think that I was funny. Yeah, sure. All right, gay's the word, said Scrub. Now, if we could only get someone to open this door while we're fooling about and being gay, we've got to find all we can about this. While we're fooling about and being gay.
I love fooling about and being a gay.
Me fucking too. Gosh, the nurse comes in to let them out so they can go fool around and be gay. And they run downstairs to find that the king and queen are leaving. They're like going hunting. But they're going like, what do they call it? Beagling or whatever? Because they're going hunting with dogs.
Yeah.
Not giant Cerberus dogs, but just regular human-sized dogs. So they've probably got a lot of them.
Oh my god, giant beagles.
Yeah. Well, they talk about giant horses, but they say, we are told that they don't have giant horses in this country. Not that they don't exist. They just aren't here. Because the queen, you would expect them to ride horses on a hunting mission, but they're not. They're walking. Except for the queen, she's being carried by 6 other giants on one of those Cleopatra thingies.
Yeah, I think I can live without giant horses.
I definitely can live without giant horses. Horses are big enough as they are.
Oh my god, being a giant horse girl. Jill is disappointed because she kind of wanted to see a giant horse.
Yeah, she did want to see a giant horse. And it says Puddleglum was just beginning to strike what he thought was a gay and gamesome attitude, which might have spoiled everything if it had been noticed. So he's like, all right, basically just act natural, but just act gay. So he's about to do some shit. And Jill's like, I'm a manipulative child.
Stop trying to death drop.
I've got this. And she runs up to the queen.
Oh, please. You're not going away, are you? You will come back.
Yes, my dear. I'll be back tonight.
Oh, good. How lovely. And may we come to the feast tomorrow night, mayn't we? We're so longing for tomorrow night. And we do love being here. And while you're out, we may run over the whole castle and see everything, mayn't we? Do say yes.
Yes, the queen did say yes, but the laughter of all the courtiers nearly drowned her voice. So Jill's just
Oh, the laughter. I haven't decided.
Oh,
maybe they think she's cute.
I think that they just think she's cute because she's like being a little kid and like, we're so excited, but also like there is an ominous energy. And that's where we end the chapter, and that is where we are going to end our episode for the morning, evening, lunchtime, whenever you're listening to this. This is a great cliffhanger episode, especially because I don't remember the rest of the story. I don't know how they escape, if they have an inside man. Like, I don't know what happens next, and I am excited.
While reading the first half of this, I kept wondering why I like this story so much, and maybe it's just because sometimes when, we're deep in the thick of it, I'm taking notes, kind of dissecting everything. You can't see you can't see the forest for the trees. And then when we're discussing it, it's like, that's when it opens back up. And I'm like, right, there's so much layered in there. And I think we also get caught in the fact that Sluis is just constantly like derailing his own narrative, basically. So, I'm excited. I want to know what happens.
I am very excited. And I get what you mean. Like when you're digging through the layers and looking for meaning and doing all that stuff, it's not as enjoyable of a read. But I do think we get to enjoy it as a book when we talk about it here. And also, then we get to talk about those deep layers and have it not feel like research.
Yeah. I also didn't feel like I was trudging through the chapters as I felt in other stories.
No.
I just, this was very smooth, and I don't know if it's the introduction of so many new characters, or maybe because like we're just kind of used to the theme and the flow of Narnia, but I feel like this one was such a smooth, quick, easy read.
It's a bit of a breath of fresh air, even with it being such a similar process as all of the other Narnian books. But yes, a wonderful breath of fresh air.
Fresh lion's breath of
Fresh
air.
Aslan air.
Look, the point is, I'm really proud of us for trudging along this far, for staying ensconced in Narnia, for keeping the magic alive, and I'm really excited to find out what happened to Prince Rillian.
Yes,
and
Prince
this snake
Brilliant.
bitch.
Yes, this snake bitch who may or may not be the Lady of the Green Kirtle. But we'll find out next time on Lobster and His Boy. With me, Wyatt, the boy.
And me, Clem, the lobster.
So join us next time to find out how our trio escapes and if they manage to find the lost prince, even after missing the first 3 signs on their quest. If you want to reach out for any comments, questions, or concerns, we are at lobsterandhisboy@gmail.com. No capital spaces or special characters. And if you would like to follow us on Instagram or TikTok, that will be Lobster and His Boy. Again, no capital spaces or special characters. And we will see you, or rather you will hear us, next time. Bye-bye!
Bing. I'd say at max, the owl would have to be like 40 feet tall to carry the biggest 12-year-old child.
40 feet tall?
Mm-hmm. Here's how I did my math. So yeah, so the... We're not making it ugly.